Our custom compounded products yield combinations.
Welcome, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. If you're new here, my name is Brian Craig. Make sure you subscribe. Click that notification bell. And everyone, like the video. If you're in the chat, just close out the chat, like the video, and then reopen the chat. That helps a lot. You know, liking the video, I talk about it a lot because that's how the video gets recommended to other people that like this kind of content. So that liking is so important.
South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-COCAINE 1. That's 1-888-COCAINE 1. And now, here's Steve.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. That's right. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, welcome, everyone. And we've got a lot to talk about today. Of course, we're going to talk about this crime prevention, I don't even know what to call it, mess of Joe Biden's yesterday. What do you think is missing from Joe Biden's crime prevention plan? What is missing from Joe Biden's crime prevention plan? I'll tell you what's missing. Discussion of crime. Yeah. He went after law-abiding gun owners, and he went after law-abiding gun dealers. And, you know, I watched a lot of the people talking about what Biden brought up yesterday. Tucker Carlson brought up some good points. But most every pundit, conservative pundit, that I saw on television yesterday talking about Biden's gun control problem, it was like a discussion I was listening to back in the 90s during the Clinton era. Very out-of-date, generic, cookie-cutter discussions against gun control. Oh, if you outlaw guns, only outlaws will have guns. Oh, I haven't heard that before. I want to tell you a couple things here early on about this. One, any discussion of gun control in 2021 is an absurd, ridiculous discussion because of a couple of reasons. If, and this is not going to happen, but if every American, law-abiding gun owners, even the illegal gun owners, right? If every gun was taken today from every gun owner, legal or illegal, we'd have guns on the street that afternoon. And you know why that is? Because of 3D printing technology. They can make guns with 3D printers. So the whole discussion of gun control is an absurd discussion. First off, it'll never happen anyway, even before 3D printing. But the fact that it is an impossible thing to do, even if we had a national consensus to do it. Okay? So that's I didn't hear anyone even mention that today. And I've seen videos online of people that have manufactured 3D printed weapons and use them, including AR-15s. And it really amazes me. And 3D printing technology would advance a century in a year if they did that. And if you took all the guns from the country, the gangbangers on the south side of Chicago and everywhere else would have 3D printers making the guns all day without serial numbers. So that's fallacy number one of the whole discussion. Here's the second one. Who do you think, what organization is responsible for more gun sales in America today than any other? What organization? Think about this now. Gun Owners of America? The NRA? Think about it now. What organization is the number one seller of guns? Yes, by the way, people are messaging me. Yes, I know that a building collapsed in Miami, but that's not really something you can talk about on the. What do you say about that on the radio in a talk radio discussion? What do you say about that? Unless we find out something, what do you say about that? How do you do a talk show discussion on what happened, other than just the facts, ma'am? So we will not be talking about the building collapse on Collins. Just so you know. Terrible thing. People lost a life. I'm sorry. And, first responders are there. But unless we get some information that it was done on purpose or something. And then even then, it depends on who did it. But, no, that's not... Now, just before I get back into my gun control rant here, I'll just tell you, I just give you a little bit behind the scenes, okay? This is not news reading, okay? Today at 6:03, this happened, and officers and first responders arrived. Now your next story. This is a discussion, and in talk radio, it's not just a discussion. There's also, there's something that we refer to as a hook, an angle on it, to give the discussion some interest and legs to it. And that's like, it's a terrible thing, this building collapse. Please don't misunderstand me in Miami. But based on what we know right now, it's not the type of thing that you can talk about on the air in a talk radio format. There's nothing to say about it. At this point, we'll see what happens. Probably just an old building. I don't know. We'll find out. So yes, I am aware. There was a fender bender down the street too. Should I talk about that? So anyway, I lost my train of thought. Oh yes, okay. So I'm not going to troll for calls on this. I'm going to tell you. What organization is the biggest seller of guns and ammunition in the United States? You know what it is? The Democrat Party. The Democrat Party. Gun sales and ammunition sales go through the roof when Democrats are in power. I bought myself a Glock 48 for my birthday in April. Man, I couldn't believe I had such a hard time finding a Glock. I went to the gun stores around town. They were sold out. Not just of Glocks, of everything. Because I wasn't so sure I was going to buy a Glock. There was a couple other guns I was thinking of buying, but I knew I wanted a new handgun for home protection, and I had a few I was looking for, and it was hard to find guns because since Biden came in, people get scared of gun control, so they go out and they buy up guns, and when you buy a new gun, you got to buy ammo for that weapon. So gun and ammo sales, and this was when Obama came into office, a big thing. When Clinton was president and he was talking about assault weapon bans and all this stuff, assault weapons were selling at very high prices like crazy. I went with my buddy to a gun show. I remember he bought one. He was very excited, yeah. For $1,300, or was it $1,100 he bought an AK-47 or something? A very good price. It was a long time ago. It was $1,100 was like $2,100 today. It was a long time ago, but Democrats are the biggest sellers of gun and ammunition. And if gun manufacturers were honest and gun sellers were completely honest, they would tell you they love it when Democrats are in power because gun sales go through the roof. I told you guys, I go to the Palm Beach gun show from time to time, and I've been there a couple times recently. And the first time I went, in the last year, Trump was in the White House, and there were people there. But then I went after Biden was in office, and oh yeah, there were people there, but they were doing something that they were not doing at the first one when Trump was in office. They were all buying guns. I couldn't believe, pretty much every table, and you can tell they're buying guns because there's a background check. So you got to sit down with the dealer at the gun show, and they enter all your information into the computer. I hardly saw a gun seller who wasn't taking information down for the background check on their laptop at their dealer's table at the gun show, the last one I went to after Biden was in office. When Trump was in office, they weren't selling. These guns, and I'd like to hear from some gun sellers anonymously. You don't have to identify yourself. Is business better for you when Democrats are in office? Of course it is. In fact, I would not be surprised. I'm serious about this now. I would not be surprised if gun manufacturers and gun sellers vote Democrat because it's good for their business. Same with ammo. Yeah. That's the way it is. So if Democrats really concern themselves with people not buying guns legally, they stop talking about it, and that's a fact what I just shared with you. This is not new. The Democrat Party are the biggest promoter of gun sales in this country. The best promoters of it. And ammunition. That is a fact, Jack. So all this talk, all this talk about common sense gun control legislation, this is just rhetoric that they throw out to the liberal mob. Okay? They want the liberal mob to hear them say gun control legislation. Then Biden, I'll play some audio of this later, he said the reason there's gun violence in these cities is because they have strict gun control laws, but around the country they don't, so they go to, they go to Florida or somewhere else and buy them. Really? These 15, 16, 17-year-old gangbangers in Chicago or that don't have cars or even driver's licenses are driving out of state and buying them legally? Of course, we're the problem, right? The Democrat cities are not the problem. The Democrat police, the Democrat city leadership, and their constituents in their city, they're not the problem. It's those of us around the country that are legal gun owners that have never violated the law. We're the problem. Are you kidding me? And I'm watching these. I was really getting pissed off watching. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to go to the phones after the first break, which we're about to take. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. I was getting very frustrated with the conservative pundits on television and their lack of really it was like I say, it was like hearing a discussion from the 90s. Same old talking points. And the reason that is because most of the conservative media and most of the conservative pundits, not all, but most of the conservative pundits and conservative media live in New York City or Washington, D.C. So they don't understand guns. They may have gone to a gun show, but they didn't go to a gun show to buy a gun. They may have gone to a gun store, right? But they didn't go to a gun store to buy a weapon. So they don't understand what you go through when you buy a gun. I do not have a concealed weapons permit. I've been thinking about getting one, mainly not for personal protection, but you can get your guns faster if you have a concealed weapons permit here in Florida. I had to wait 5 days to get my Glock 48. If I'd had a concealed weapon permit, I'd have gotten it right away. So I'm thinking about getting a concealed weapons permit just because I want to buy more guns and for home protection, and it's faster to go through the process if you're a concealed weapon permit holder. I'm not going to walk around carrying a weapon. Because if I went around carrying a weapon and I had to defend myself, chances are, right, I would have to defend myself against a liberal, because that's who the violent criminals are. Violent criminals are liberals. Republicans, that the few that are criminals are typically white collar. Violent criminals are typically liberal. And imagine what would happen to me, even if I was justified, I had to use deadly force to defend my life on the street, and I had to defend my life against a black guy. I'd be done. Right-wing conservative radio host, right-wing conservative podcast, they'd be playing clips of things I've said on today's show all over the news. I'd be done. And, and I'm not a big supporter of carrying guns everywhere you go. There's certain instances where I understand, someone I know owns rental property. They have to go around and collect rent, and they carry because they've got cash. I understand certain things. But I'm not someone that I don't carry a weapon. And I wouldn't carry a weapon around routinely. That's just not me. But hey, listen, we got a Second Amendment. It's America. You can do that if you wish. I'm not opposed to it either. That's just me personally. You know, that's just me personally. But I am going to get a concealed weapons permit. There's no doubt about it. I'm probably going to do it very soon. I've been trying to find the time to do it. But these conservative pundits that you see on TV, since they live in New York or D.C., they live in these, even though they're conservative and they're good people, but they live in these big cities where guns are not a part of the culture. I've had guns since I was 12 years old. My first gun, my father and grandfather gave me. I was 12. We went hunting. It was a .410 shotgun. I wish I still had that .410 shotgun, but I don't. But it was a pretty good gun for a kid to go hunting with. I went hunting with my dad and some other people, hunting doves. I remember it clearly, and so I'm a very responsible gun owner. I've grown up around guns. Even though 12 years old may seem young to you guys, I took my daughter to the gun range and taught her how to shoot when she was 11. Because I figure 11 or 12, that's when you can start teaching your child gun safety. And I started her out with a .22 pistol, which is like a cap gun, and worked her way up to the 9mm, and I schooled her on gun safety and how to use a gun to protect herself. Did the same thing with my wife when we got married, And even before that, because my grandfather was a retired police officer, he had guns everywhere, loaded. He had a loaded pistol on the kitchen table. He had loaded pistols on the counter in the kitchen. He had rifles loaded all over the house in the corner of every room, in his car and everything else. And so I've been around guns and learned about guns my whole life. Okay, so I'm a very responsible gun owner. But a lot of these conservative news people, they don't have that experience, and they're afraid of guns just like liberals are afraid of guns. I go to the gun shop, and I start hearing people shooting out on the range. I'm like, ooh, wow, I'm home. There's a great sounds, But a lot of these conservative pundits, they're like, what was that? What was that? I know they get a little punchy. But for all the reasons I stated, in particular, the 3D printing technology, talking about gun control for or against it is an absurd discussion. Also because it's never going to happen. Let's take our first break. If you're on hold, stand by. I will go to the phones after the break. 1-888-GO-KANE-1 is our number. It's a toll-free call. 1-888-465-2631. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that
Jacqueline, $10 super sticker. Thank you, Jacqueline, and everyone thank Jacqueline. I do appreciate those super chats because my videos they don't get monetized by YouTube because of my conservative MAGA content.
coverage. For those of you who are at-risk patients, I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Soul Authority.
Oh man, yeah. So I'll take some calls on this. You're all welcome to call in on this topic.
A pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Soul Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
When you need drug or STD testing, you want to keep it private. After all, that's no one's business but yours. At any lab test now of Boca Raton, they guarantee the lowest price on all of their thousands of tests, and all their testing is completely confidential. Drug and STD testing start at just $49. Drug testing results are available on the spot. No appointment necessary, no doctor's order or prescription, and be in and out in 15 minutes or less. Any lab test now of Boca Raton is located at 23016 Sandalfoot Plaza on the east side of 441, just a few doors down from Western Beef. If you have any questions, call 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Any lab test now of Boca Raton. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Listen to this on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All righty, 22 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Good morning, Brian. Listen, we're being played like fools in this country. I listened to this Garland yesterday. Thank God he never became a Supreme Court justice. I'm listening to these people talk. You want to know the truth? The truth?
No, I want to know the lie. I don't want to know the truth. I want you to lie to me.
You listen to these people. You know the.
Is this the truth? Is this the truth, or are you going to lie to me? Because I didn't answer. I said you said, do you want to know the truth? And I said, no, I want you to lie to me.
Well, here's the deal. You know the Puerto Rican couple out in California that taxes were executed by a bunch of animals? And
yeah.
And Weezy will be calling me, telling me they need dignity and they need respect. They have to be talking.
Well, yeah, all right, appreciate the call. You know, the thing about Merrick Garland yesterday, who I'm glad he talked yesterday, because that's the guy that Obama wanted to put on the Supreme Court. Could you imagine if we had that guy on the Supreme Court? My goodness, he makes AOC look like a Reagan conservative, talking about legal gun sellers. I say legal gun sellers, licensed gun dealers. Licensed gun dealers are the most responsible gun owners I've ever met in my life. They know everything about every weapon. When I go to a gun store, I'm dealing with a professional person that understands everything about every weapon, and sometimes I'll have questions about different types of ammo. Like when I bought my Glock 48, the guy, I said, okay, I want two kinds of ammo. I want my home protection ammo, and I want my range ammo. Because range, ammo's not cheap. I got this new gun, I got to go fire it off 100, 150 times. And, you don't want the great ammo. So he gave me the best stuff for home protection that'll give me that maximum stopping power. And then he gave me the cheapest stuff he could get, so I could take to the range. So, so I'm not firing off money all day. They're experts, and they're responsible. They're responsible. They're the ones, the licensed gun dealers are the ones that conduct the background checks, and they don't mess around. They always do the background checks. The ones that don't do the background checks are the gangbangers that are giving the pistols to the 15-year-old kids in Chicago. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Good morning, Brian.
Yeah, what's your name?
My name is Lester from down here, Louisiana.
Hey, Lester. Now remember, no. You're up in Louisiana. I'm in Florida. You're north of me. I'm down here in Florida. You're up in Louisiana. You're a northerner.
Only kind of gun I own, Brian, is a flag gun. One that you buy when you're in a boat if you got problems.
I didn't understand anything you just said. What are they doing? Go back. I didn't catch what you said.
I said I own one kind of gun, a flag gun.
A flare gun?
Yeah, well, that's the kind you got in the boat when you're in the...
Yeah, I know what a flare gun is, yeah.
Okay, I got one of those. I got 5 shells with it. I bought it at Walmart about 10 years ago when I had my boat. You can buy them there. You set them on fire. You don't need no permit.
That's ridiculous. You do not want to use a handgun. I mean, a flare gun for home defense. Okay, so you because you'll set your house on fire and your house will burn down.
Oh, if he's in my yard or he comes.
If he's in your yard, if you're going to use if you've got a home intruder and you light him on fire with a flare gun, and he's in your bedroom or the hallway, everything in your house is going to ignite. Now, that's crazy.
If it is, I'll shoot them in my yard, Brian.
Well, you can't shoot. Well, that's illegal. You can't shoot them in your yard. They have to be, that your life has to be in danger, and that would be inside your home. You can't go shooting people in the yard. If you did that, the people walking the dogs would be in trouble, right?
What it is, if he knock at my door, he's a stranger. He want to come in and I don't know him. I'll shoot him.
Well, hey, listen. If you do that, are you white or black?
I'm white.
Oh my goodness! If you better watch. Well, it's hard to tell. With that Cajun accent, sometimes it's hard to tell. But if you, as a white Southerner in Louisiana, who's a Cajun, because with the accent, if you shoot a black guy in your yard, even if he's all strapped with all kinds of weapons, you're going to prison. That is not legal.
They'll cop about that. They say you can use it for protection.
Yeah, but your life has to be in danger. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Woo! He's got a flare gun for all protection. And what if you miss with the flare gun and you? Oh my goodness, no, flare gun's no good. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is something else. And liberals, I'm not talking about the Democrat politicians, but liberal people that talk about gun control, they're also, because if you look at that map, that county map of the country, between the Republicans and the Democrats, all the Democrats are isolated in these, big metropolitan areas, and they're also afraid of guns. And people that don't grow up around guns, that's how they are. I remember, maybe I'll talk to Steve about this later, but years ago, Steve and his wife had an English nanny when their kids were young, and the nanny had her nephew from England visit, and he was 16 years old. He had never held a gun in his life, so Steve and I took him to the gun range. And I remember we walked into the gun range, which was, there's a gun store, and then the gun range is in the back. And you could hear all the guns going off. And he's like, "What's that?" I was like, "There's guns." He'd never heard a gun before. He didn't even know what the sound was. And he was a little nervous. And Steve rented him a 22. I don't have no 22. I went to high school with this drug dealer. And this was in the 80s, and he was a crack dealer. I don't know what happened to the guy. He's either in prison or dead. But he had gotten shot while we were in high school. He had gotten shot with a 22. And he said when he got shot with the 22, the hole sealed up. One drop of blood came out, the hole sealed up. He walked himself to the emergency room, and they told him to sit down and wait. That's how. So no, that's not good. So Steve rented a 22 for this kid, and we go out to the range. He was very nervous. Steve gave him the 22, and he's firing off the 22. He's like, "Oh, that's nothing." I said, "Yeah, try this." And I gave him my 38 Snub-Nose 38 Ultralight, which is a very good gun, has a big 357 round in it. And he fired that once, and his face lit up. He was very excited. He used up all our ammunition. But he was very nervous. He was very scared because he'd never even heard a gun in real life. And that's how Democrat people are. I'm not talking about the politicians. Because they grow up in these cities where people don't have guns and they've never been around them, they're afraid of them. They don't understand. They don't know what goes into purchasing guns, owning guns. People that are legal gun owners are responsible. How often does a crime get committed with someone who is possessing and using a gun legally? Never. Because we already have laws on the books against murder, shooting random people, using a weapon, using a firearm in a robbery. We already have laws against all these things. And I know this is a very common sense thing, but the problem is that outlaws don't obey the laws. They break the law. They're lawbreakers. And the estimates on guns, I don't know what number they give these days. How many guns do they say are in America? I don't know, a lot, right? A couple 100 million or something. I think if we actually knew the number of guns that truly existed in this country, it would frighten even NRA members. I think there's probably as many as 1 billion guns in this country. And I'll tell you why. Law-abiding gun owners like myself, we keep our guns forever. Some of the weapons I have, not all, but some of the weapons I have belong to my grandfather and are 100 years old. And they look brand new. I could take them hunting today. I could take them to the range today. And if I showed it to a layman, you would not even know that the gun was 100 years old. Because legal gun owners, we take care of our weapons. You know, my .38 I was talking about, I've had that gun for 20 years, maybe longer. It looks like the day it came from the manufacturer. You know, so guns last a long time. They're not the guns that are not in good shape are the ones that people own illegally. Right? They do these gun buyback programs and people come in with rusty old guns and a lot of times criminals, these gangbangers, they get arrested and their guns are like old and falling apart, you know, rusty, things like this. They're not reliable. You know, they don't have because they're illegal gun owners. Law-abiding gun owners, our guns last multiple lifetimes. You know, the guns that were my grandfather's, I'm the third owner, grandfather, father, and me, you know. And my weapons, I'll give them to my daughter when I pass. Steve has a ton of very nice weapons, of collectibles. You know, his sons will have them, and then they'll pass them down, and they look brand new because they last forever. So the shelf life of guns is long, and so I think it is not an exaggeration. There could be 1 billion with a B guns in this country. Think about that. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, I know. Listen, we're going to take a break. It's 35 minutes after the hour. My name's Brian. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Attention seniors! Debbie from I Will Advisors has launched I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will make all of your doctor's appointments for you, handle your pharmacy issues, including refills, billing problems. They'll even make sure your
That's not why I cut you off, Richie. I just saw what Richie said.
IWillAdvocates.com. Never worry about your health care ever again. Let I Will Advocates handle everything for you. 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214.
Dr. Matez here from the Biostation West Delray. Many of you are familiar with the famous erection injection, an extremely effective treatment for erectile dysfunction made popular right here on the Steve Kane Show. I'm here to tell you that the erection injection is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the extensive array of treatment options now available at the Biostation West Delray. Our custom compounded products yield combinations and dosages that increase the efficacy of Viagra and Cialis greatly. We also offer treatments that can correct the problem at its source, such as PRP and sound wave pulse therapies that restore your natural function. State-of-the-art testing and the most current treatment options all available in one place, the Biostation West Delray. If you want to correct your erectile problems once and for all, call us at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, 37 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. Now today, I don't know, about 9:15, 9:30, because I'm heading there right after the show is off the air. I'm heading over to Friendly Tire in Margate. I have my wife's car with me today, which I don't drive very often. And which is kind of a pain because when I have all my stuff in my car, I'm in my wife's car today because she ran over a screw, and she has a screw in one of her rear tires. And yeah, and I know what you're saying. Well, wait a minute. Didn't you do that last week? Well, I had a screw in one of my tires too. So one of my nice neighbors, obviously, was doing some work and had some, they were doing some work down the street on something and didn't clean up the mess very well and put some screws in the road on my street. Thank you very much, neighbor. So I got a screw in my tire. My wife got a screw in her tire. So, So I'm heading over to Friendly Tire in Margate, and he's going to take care of that for me because he does tire repairs. And my wife's car has run flats on it. And I said to Friendly Mike yesterday, I said, hey, listen, my wife's got a screw in her tire. Can you plug a run flat? He said, yeah. And a lot of these tire shops, in fact, none of them in town other than Friendly Tire do tire repairs. They tell you they don't do repairs because they're scam artists. They want to sell you new tires. I get it. They're scam artists. I know. Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire does tire repairs starting at just $7. And I got my tire repaired. I'm getting my wife's tire repaired. Get that screw taken out and get it plugged. Give him a call. If you need a tire repair done, Friendly Mike, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And if you're there around 9:30 this morning, you'll run into me getting the screw taken out of my wife's rear right side tire at Friendly Tire in Margate. All right, I hate to do this, but let me play a couple of these sound bites of Biden yesterday. Let's see here. Oh yeah, let's see. Let's play this one. This is cut number 1. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 cuts of Biden. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Here's Biden.
Here's another example that reminds me of the old saying my mom used.
Christine, $5 super chat. Thank you.
Mind is a devil's workshop.
Tim, $5 super chat. Thank you.
For the summer.
Chuck, $10. Thank you.
Tough neighborhoods. Note who are in tough neighborhoods. More jobs, more trouble. We know summer jobs, training, and recreation for young people work. They help make sure young people pick up a paycheck instead of a pistol. One study found in Boston's summer jobs program for youth reduction reduced violence crimes by 35% in Boston. Another study found that a program that offers high school students in Chicago a good summer job and an adult mentor and behavioral therapy led to a 45% drop in violence. We can invest in more of these programs with the American Rescue Plan.
Okay. Boy. And, no one has talked about his cognitive ability yesterday. He was really checked out yesterday, Biden, as he's canceling our Second Amendment. So this is what Biden's saying, right? We need to give these gangbangers summer jobs. Get a job at BK. Get a job at McDonald's. Well, unfortunately, the Democrats are trying to unionize these places and they're going automated. But if you can give all the gangbangers on the south side of Chicago jobs at McDonald's and Burger King, well, hey, it'll be over. They'll pick up a paycheck instead of a gun. So you're telling me some 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kid who's making a $1,000 a week at tax-free is going to go get a job making $87 a week? After taxes and everything? Oh, yeah, that's brilliant, Joe. You're a rocket scientist. Oh, my goodness. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. There was a great song in the era of Miami Vice. Smuggler's Blues. Who sang Smuggler's Blues? Anybody remember? Who sang Smuggler's Blues? A great song. D, $5 super chat. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Oh, yeah. It was a great song. Anybody remember Smuggler's Blues? That great song all about drug dealers and how much money they make. That's right, Glenn Fry, who's no longer with us. Poor Glenn Fry. I love that song. It was so good, they even made a Miami Vice episode out of the song. The song came first, then the episode. And the episode, Glenn Fry played a pilot that took Crockett and Tubbs to Cuba. Do you remember that? It was a great episode. We the People, $50 super chat. Thank you. Everyone thank We the People. And in that song, he talks a lot about the money. right? It's fast money, it's easy money, it's cash money, it's tax-free money. You're not going to go to some kid, right, who may not even have parents at home, may live with his grandmother, or live in a single-parent home at best, whose parent or grandparent is living on a fixed income, like Social Security, or they have a job at Walmart making barely over minimum wage, but they're out there making $1,000 a week dealing dope. You're not going to give them a job that a teenager can get, Joe. That's the dumbest thing I have ever heard any president of the United States say. And I challenge you to find a president saying something equally as stupid. They'll pick up a gun and not pay. Democrats are big on catchphrases, aren't they? They'll pick up a paycheck and not a pistol. Oh, wow. Wish I would have thought of that, Joe. You know, people that are involved in crime are mentally ill to a certain extent. And not to trivialize mental illness, because I don't want to do that. But their outlook on things is different. Have any of you ever been the victim of a crime? Sadly, I have. When a armed person goes up to you to rob you, what do they say? What do they say to you? They come up to rob you. They want the money that you possess. What do they say to you? What is the common phrase that armed robbers use? They don't say, "Excuse me, sir, pardon me, sorry for the inconvenience, could I borrow some money?" They don't say that. They say, "Give me my money," and then some profanities. Give me my money. Give me my money, right? See, criminals that commit violent crimes with guns, when they are stealing from you, when they're robbing you of your money, it can be anything, but I'm just using money. Give me my money. That's a common catchphrase, right? They don't think they're robbing you. They don't think that they're stealing from you. They believe that you have their money and they're reclaiming it from you. They think a little differently than those of us who are law-abiding. You can't go to someone with that kind of mindset and say, "Hey, go get a job at KFC. Pays $7.50 an hour." Are you kidding me? That doesn't work. So Joe Biden that's just stupid what he said, just stupid. And so far as his statistics on crime, Democrats manipulate crime stats. That's what happened in Parkland. In Parkland, this was, I've heard about the manipulation of crime stats in television shows. The Wire had a whole season of The Wire on HBO about the manipulation of crime stats. Okay? And, but I never saw it in real life until after the Parkland shooting. When that god-awful incident happened at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, I saw one of the parents or resident. I think it was one of the residents, a teacher. It was a lady, and she was on the news out in front of the school, and she says, "I don't know how this happened. This is the safest city." It was either the safest city in Florida or I don't know. It had some safest city designation, Parkland, because they had the lowest crime rate. And what we came to find out is that the sheriff's department was manipulating the crime rate. They weren't arresting people. If you don't arrest anyone, you have zero crime. If it's not on the books, if it's not on the record, you have zero crime. Get it? So when I hear Biden say, well, even if he's telling the truth about the statistic, Steve has a phrase, "Numbers don't lie, but liars can figure." That's a great one. Numbers don't lie, but liars can figure. So when Biden says that they started offering jobs at KFC and Arby's, and all the gangbangers put down their pistols and started picking up paychecks, and we know this because crime dropped 45%, like Parkland, that's a manipulation of the crime stats. So don't buy any of that crap. Let's take our last break of the first hour, 47 minutes after the hour. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. That's right. We're going to take a break and be right back after this very quick break. Don't go. I'm looking for the right commercial to play. That's why I'm talking slow. Don't go anywhere.
Hey guys, Brian Craig here.
Hey everyone, thanks for those super chats. I really appreciate it. And we the people, $50 super chat, Trump 2024, absolutely. Everybody else, thank you for those super chats. And when the super chats come in, if I miss it, guys, if you could thank the people. D, $5. How about Trump heading to the border? Same time as Kamala. Oh yeah, I'm going to get to that. Thank you, D. Everyone, thank D as well. Christine, $5 super chat. Brian, the Marco Polo link needs to be printed to your page. Yeah, I was looking, Christine, this morning for the link. My wife has the link. I don't. I was looking for that to pin it in there, and I can't quite catch how to get the link, but I'll try to do that in the future.
So you're wearing the My Pillow, My Slippers, which, by the way, 40% off with the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, and it's helped with your neuropathy.
Yes, it is. It's much. I have to wear the slippers at home. I can't go barefoot or even with socks on.
Wow.
So I have to wear that. And I also have the My Pillow and the My Pillow mattress topper and the.
That mattress topper is unbelievable, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
My wife loves it.
Oh, man. I know, they're all great. Yeah, I know. And by the way, when you use the promo code Kane at checkout, 40% off the My Pillow slippers, 30% off the My Pillow mattress topper, and you get 2 free My Pillows with it. So it's great. Well, that's awesome. Order your My Pillow, My Slippers 40% off with the promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, at mypillow.com, or call 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E.
This is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. Give me a call today to save up to 50% on your insulation and radiant barrier, and up to 35% on your electric bill. That's 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, 10 before 7, I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Welcome back. We're talking about Biden's fake gun grab, because what he's doing is he's putting more guns on the street. You know how many people are going to go today and this weekend? Man, this would be if there's a gun show here in South Florida this weekend, you guys know you're going to sell more guns than you've sold in months, right? At the gun show this weekend, you guys that have gun stores around town, business is going to be mighty good today, isn't it? Oh, man. Biden's the biggest gun seller we've had since Obama. It's almost like he's doing spots to sell them because they fly off the shelves like hotcakes when Democrats are out there. So let's play some more of Biden. Let's see here. Let's go to oh yes, let me play this one here.
Second, we discussed disrupting illegal gun trafficking. Now, the gun lobby wants you to believe that cities that are had the toughest gun laws still have the highest rates of gun violence, as was pointed out by the group we had today in our roundtable. The violence is, so they argue, why do you need those gun laws if they don't work in cities that have tough laws? Don't believe it. Here's the truth. Today's conversation with Mayor Scott of Baltimore, for example, echoed what we know to be the case and hear from mayors all across the country. Mayors have the power to help shape and enforce the laws in their cities, but they can't control the laws in neighboring cities and states, even though the gun legally bought there as often ends up in their streets. Mayor Scott says that 80% of the guns in Baltimore were acquired outside the city. Outside the city. There's little he can do about that. So we have to act. As part of our strategy, the Justice Department is creating 5 new strike forces to crack down on illegal gun trafficking, and the Carters supplying weapons to cities like New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., and the Bay Area.
Okay, so here's Biden. See, the reason, this is what he's telling us, the reason there's gun violence in these cities that have the strictest of gun laws is because people legally can purchase weapons everywhere else in the country. And that's where the guns are coming from. Tucker Carlson made a good point about this last night. You guys catch Tucker Carlson? He's become must-watch TV, hasn't he, Tucker Carlson? Oh, my goodness. I feel so bad for Stitchfeld over on Newsmax, because Stitchfeld is awesome. He's awesome good, Stitchfeld, isn't he? And Tucker is just on fire lately. But anyway, Tucker Carlson said, oh, really, they're going to Indiana to buy guns, where they're legal. You know, he says if the legal gun owners and the areas and the cities and the towns and the states where the Second Amendment is honored, if that's the problem, why don't we have the high crime rates there? And you know one thing he doesn't mention? Let's just say, I'm not agreeing with this, but let's just say that all these gangbangers that are using guns illegally in Chicago, we always pick on Chicago, but that's, you know, where the biggest problem is. If the gangbangers of Chicago, if all their guns came from places where you can legally buy them, how did they get them? The people that legally buy guns are not giving their guns to criminals. If that's the case, they're breaking into people's homes and stealing them. That's how. That would be the only way they could get them, isn't it? Pretty stupid, you know, what this guy's saying. But that's Biden. I don't even think he knew what he was saying. He was having a hard time with the teleprompter yesterday, and he was really particularly checked out yesterday as he was erasing the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution. Yeah. Let me play another. I got 2 more clips of Biden on the guns.
For folks at home, here's what you need to know. I've been at this a long time.
Yeah, we know, 50 years.
There are things we know that work to reduce gun violence and violent crime, and things that we don't know about. But things we know about. Background checks for purchasing a firearm are important. Ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines.
By the way, do you know what they define an assault weapon as? You know what an assault weapon is defined as? A weapon that has a magazine that can be removed. That's almost every handgun people have today. But anyway, let's get back to this.
Background checks for purchasing a firearm are important.
So you gang leaders out there, see what Biden wants you to do, you gang leaders, right? You need to start doing background checks on the gangbangers that you bring into your crew.
Ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. No one needs to have a weapon that can fire over 30, 40, 50, even up to 100 rounds. Unless you think the deer are wearing Kevlar vests or something.
Okay. Background checks. That's what happens. You know, they're talking about the gun show loophole. And the last gun show I went to, the Palm Beach gun show, which is at the South Florida Fairgrounds off Southern Boulevard, that's a great gun show. I really enjoy that gun show. But it's a pretty good one. I've been going to gun shows for a long time. I particularly like that one. I don't know why. They have great air conditioning, I guess. I don't know, but I like it there. They had a sign up. By the way, when you go to a gun show, there is a background check. And you don't walk out with the gun. You got to go through the same background check. And they even had a sign up. They've changed this, that even on individual personal sales, a background check is required at the gun show in Palm Beach. They had big signs up about this. Legal gun owners go through background checks. The gangbangers, they don't. Everything Biden said yesterday blamed legal gun owners and legal gun vendors, gun sellers. I didn't hear him put any blame on the criminals. He made excuses. Well, they don't have jobs. Well, they don't have jobs. Everywhere I go is hiring. Every retail store, every entry-level type job is hiring. There's nothing but vacancies out there. One last clip of Biden's. This one's last on purpose.
The Second Amendment from the day it was passed limited the type of people who could own a gun. And what type.
By the way, that is not true. There was one restriction Democrats put on. What was the first? He said the Second Amendment right away limited who could own a gun. That is not true. That is not true. What limitation did the Second Amendment put on gun ownership at first? He said that right away it did. Now, before I play the rest of this, because I got a point to make about it, I know what he's referencing, and it's not in the Constitution. Do you know what the first restriction on the Second Amendment was in this country? Think about it for a minute. You can call if you want on it, but let me play this clip first and talk about it. What was the first restriction on gun ownership in America? And the Second Amendment did not limit who could own weapons, Biden. That's a lie.
The Second Amendment, from the day it was passed, limited the type of people who could own a gun and what type of weapon you could own. You couldn't buy a cannon. Those who say the blood of patriots, you know, and all the stuff about how we're going to have to move against the government. Well, the tree of liberty is not water with the blood of patriots. What's happened is that there never been, if you wanted to think you need to have weapons to take on the government, you need F-15s and maybe some nuclear weapons. The point is that there's always been the ability to rationally limit the type of weapon that can be owned and who can own it.
No, the Second Amendment did not, and by the way, cannon is not a gun. The Second Amendment didn't limit anyone's gun ownership. What was the first gun control laws on the books in the United States, and who did it? Do you know? I'm going to let you guys tell me. I don't like to do polls. I don't like to troll for calls like that, but I want to see if anybody can figure it out. The first gun control restrictions after our Second Amendment was ratified in our Constitution. And who did it? Oh, by the way, if you need F-15s and nukes, why are they calling the Capitol breach an insurrection? None of our people had guns there. The MAGA people. And I got something new on that from One American News. Now, one MAGA person in the breach had a gun. How is that an insurrection if you need nuclear weapons and F-15s for an insurrection, Joe? Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian. It's Andrea.
Hey, Andrea, you keep calling at break time, but go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Wasn't the first restriction on the Second Amendment made by Democrats, and it was against colored people owning firearms?
Well, I would not use that descriptor, but yes, the first gun control legislation we had in the United States was the Democrats in the South. It was illegal for blacks to own guns, to possess guns. You are correct. Ding, ding, ding. That was so when Joe Biden says right away there was a restriction on who could own guns in the Second Amendment, that is not true. It was local laws in the slave-owning South that made it illegal for blacks to possess weapons. That's right. You are correct. So that the Democrats could continue to enslave them. You got the answer correct. Yeah.
Thou shalt not be infringed is not a suggestion. It is a hard line law. And for Joe Biden, remember what he said a couple months ago. He insinuated that the Constitution is not a rule. He said it numerous times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
The Constitution is just a suggestion that can be amended at the whim of the federal government.
There was no restriction. There was no restriction in the Constitution on gun ownership. That's a lie. Local Democrats in the South passed the laws forbidding blacks, but there's no restriction in the Constitution, the Second Amendment. He said from the beginning that's a lie. Now, sadly, I got to run for a break, Andrea, but appreciate the call, and you got the answer right. All right, hour number 2 begins now. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be back.
You covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Attention seniors! Debbie from I Will Advisors has launched I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will make all of your doctor's appointments for you, handle your pharmacy issues, including refills, billing problems. They'll even make sure your prescriptions are filled. They'll review your doctor's bills to make sure they are correct. If you're in the hospital and you need an advocate to get the care you need, I Will Advocates, they'll do that too. They'll handle your Medicare and Medicaid applications, and that's just the beginning. They do a lot more too. Give Debbie and her team at I Will Will Advocates a call right now. 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Online, iwilladvocates.com. Never worry about your health care ever again. Let I Will Advocates handle everything for you. 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of My Pillow, here to tell you about my Giza Dream bed sheets. I made sure that they would be everything you'd ever want in a sheet set. I started with the world's finest cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region where the Sahara Desert, the Nile River, and the Mediterranean Sea all meet. The long staple cotton makes my Giza Dream sheets ultra soft and durable. They come with extra wide pillowcases to fit over any pillow and extra deep pockets to fit over any mattress. Not only that, they come with my 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. And now you can get the best sheets ever for the best price ever. When you buy one of my Giza Dream bed sheet sets, you'll get another one absolutely free. I personally guarantee that they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
Use the promo code KANE at checkout, and when you buy a set of Giza Dream Sheets, get a second set free. But you've got to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com, or call 1-800-716-4879.
Quote, I affirm that I will defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, unquote. The pledge to defend the Constitution is a pledge of action, a promise to defend the Constitution against any who change it by means other than the prescribed amendment process. Any bureaucrat who alters the meaning of the law outside the amendment process is a domestic enemy of America. Violating their oath, they are guilty of perjury. But there's more than just perjury here. There is malfeasance of office. The biggest criminal today is the leftist government itself. The president is supposed to enforce the laws of the United States and secure the general welfare. That means secure the economy. Biden canceled the XL pipeline, and then he lifted sanctions on Russia so they can build a pipeline to Germany. He is a domestic enemy, but President Biden is just a figurehead. It's the Democrat Party that is the domestic enemy of the American people.
The Steve Kane 2022 MAGA Cruise is a go, leaving January 21st on the Celebrity Equinox out of Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale. Join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, for 9 nights cruising the Caribbean. We will stop in Grand Cayman Island, Bonaire, Curacao, and Aruba. Reserve your cabin right now and call Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779, 561-244-5779.
We're coming back. Make sure you guys like the video. Share it too if you don't mind, but liking the video is very important. It tells the YouTube algorithm to share the video. So if you're in the chat, you can close out the chat, like the video, and reopen the chat. If you're watching on television, go to your computer, your cell phone, whatever you got. Liking the video is very important.
To South Florida's longest running radio show.
Oh, and don't forget, I got a great podcast coming out today. Oh, man. Okay, I did a podcast last night. I didn't have time to upload it last night. It's going up today. It's a good one.
And now,
all right. Hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. It's 6 minutes after 7. We're talking about Biden's phony gun control rhetoric. Oh, man. Andrea, $5 super chat. Thank you. So let me replay this last clip of Biden because I wanted to expand upon it, and I played it kind of up against a break, and I didn't get to. So this is the most absurd of everything he said.
The Second Amendment from the day it was passed limited the type of people who could own a gun.
That is not true. The Second Amendment did not limit the type of people that could own guns. What he's talking about, remember, Joe Biden was brought up by racist segregationists, okay? And what Biden is talking about is, this was not in the Second Amendment, this was local ordinances. In the early days of America, the Democrats in the slave states made it illegal for black people to own guns. For obvious reasons. It's hard to enslave people that are armed. Right there, that's a case against it. Why did the Democrats forbid blacks from owning guns back then, Biden? Why? That was the first gun control legislation in this country. But anyway, let's get back to this.
And what type of weapon you could own. You couldn't buy a cannon. Those who say the blood of patriots, and all the stuff about how we're going to have to move against the government. Well, the tree of liberty is not water.
Randall, $50 super chat. Thank you. Everyone, thank Randall.
Never been. If you wanted to think you need to have weapons to take on the government.
Thank you so much, Randall.
Maybe some nuclear weapons. The point is that there's always been the ability to rationally limit the type of weapon that can be owned and who can own it.
Okay, that is not true. He calls keeping weapons out of the hands of black people rational, I guess is what he's talking about. If you need F-15s and nuclear weapons to oppose the government, how is the Capitol breach an insurrection? Joe, could you tell me that? None of the people that went into the Capitol, those are MAGA people, most of them, not all. I got something new from One American News. Wait till you hear this. Most of those were MAGA people. None of them were armed. So by Joe Biden's definition yesterday, the Capitol breach was not an insurrection. They didn't have F-15s or nuclear weapons. They had no weapons. Interesting. Wow. You know what? I hope their defense attorneys use that in court. Now, the Second Amendment, you Gen Xers out there, people that are my age and around about, when I was growing up, we had what I thought was one of the greatest things ever, Saturday morning cartoons. When I was a kid, I used to call Saturdays Cartoon Day. I didn't even know what the day of the week was called. It was Cartoon Day. We didn't have cartoons on TV and everything all the time like they do now. And there was a great program called Schoolhouse Rock. You guys remember Schoolhouse Rock? I still listen and watch Schoolhouse Rock. I love Schoolhouse Rock. And they had different ones. They had Schoolhouse Grammar, Schoolhouse Math. They had America Rocks, which was about American history. And they had one. And they had a song, and it was about the Revolution. And they said, grab your powder, grab your gun, and report to General Washington. I remember that lyric in the song. Any of you guys remember that? Grab your powder, grab your gun, and report to General Washington. The reason there were zero restrictions on who could own guns, zero restrictions in the Constitution, in the Second Amendment, is because the Army was made up of people who brought their own personal weapons and ammunition. There were zero restrictions. So everything Biden said yesterday was absurd, stupid, and he doesn't really care about gun control. A lot of it's a diversionary tactic to make it look like he's doing something. A lot of it is throwing some things at his people. I'm going to tell you guys a story that I have told before on the air, but it is an important story to tell. Many of you that are new to the show have not heard this. Back in the 90s, we used to do gun control shows weekly here on the Steve Kane Show. It was a hot topic at the time. And Bill Clinton was going after our guns, right? Remember the Million Mom March? There were these, and we used to have guests on from these liberal gun groups. The Center to Prevent Handgun Violence, the Brady Campaign, the Million Mom March, and there are a handful of others. I can't remember all the names. And we used to do a gun control show about once a week, at least every other week, when Clinton was president. And then G.W. Bush became president, and gun control disappeared, not just because he's a conservative. Remember the NRA guy when Bush was running in the 2000 race? They had a video of him on the news saying, well, when George Bush gets elected, we're going to have a desk right next to the Oval Office. Remember that, the NRA guy? But gun control disappeared for 8 years, not just because he was a strong supporter of the Second Amendment, George W. Bush, but because of 9/11. And after 9/11, people wanted to be able to protect themselves, and it disappeared. And we didn't do a gun control show for 8 years. And then Obama became president and started talking about gun control. And Steve says, you know, let's have these gun control people on. Let's have these gun control people on. We haven't had them on in 8 years. And I can't, the only ones I can remember the names of are Million Mile March, Brady Campaign, Center to Prevent Handgun Violence. I know there were 2 or 3 others, if any of you remember these gun control groups. And it was fascinating. So I dusted off my old phone number list of gun control groups, and went online and Googled them and went to their websites, and I called them all to request interviews. And this was amazing. The first one I called was the Million Mom March. I don't know why, but it was first on my list. I called. This person I spoke to wasn't a mom because it was a man, you know. And he said, okay, he took my interview request down. Then I called the next one. Another time, a man answered. And I thought his voice sounded familiar, but I put through the request. He said, okay. And then I called the third one. A man answered, and I realized the same guy answered the phone all 3 times. I thought so on the second time, but I thought, no. So the gun control groups were all ringing to the same phone in the same office. So when it happened the third time, I told this story the day after this happened. When this happened the third time, I said to the guy, you've answered the phone to all these different groups. What's going on? And he says, oh, they all forward their number here. And then, boom, a light bulb went up above my head, figuratively, and I realized what the racket was. There has never been in this country a gun control movement. It's all been fake. The Democrats started all of these fake groups, Million Mile March and all the rest. The Democrat Party set up all these fake groups so that they could have multiple groups out there to give the illusion that there was a grassroots nationwide effort of different groups and different people. One was gun victims, the Brady campaign. One was moms who care and all this stuff. The Democrat Party created all these groups. They're all fake groups with different names to make it look as if there's a mass grassroots effort of people who want common sense gun control legislation. It's all a lie. The American people don't want gun control. They don't support their gun control legislation. And that was a big awakening for me. I was in shock when that happened. That's when I realized it was all fake. All the groups were fake. There was one group, the DNC. Yep. That's it. Oh man, I know, isn't that something else? Everything they do is fake. Our number is 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, Brian, it's Rolanda.
Hey, Rolanda, what's up?
And I was listening at some of that, if you could call it a speech. All I want to say is he belongs in a nursing home and his wife belongs in jail. But here's my concern, because he mentioned something about when he was semi-coherent. He mentioned something about a strike force. I guess going into certain, places, and so I guess putting restrictions on what you could sell. Did you hear that? Did you sort of gauge at what he was talking about there? You know,
that's a good. I didn't pick up on that. I don't have a response to. Was strike force? We're going into taking guns away from legal people.
Yes, I guess going into gun shows or.
See, one of the things they left out is, why is there so much crime in Chicago but not in other places? That's because they have gun control. People aren't armed. In Florida, we don't have a lot of these incidents because Florida, we're armed. Everyone has a gun in Florida. You never know who has a gun in Florida.
Another thing, Brian, in Chicago, from what I understand, they're Miss Lightfoot or whatever her name is, or Edward Scissorhands.
It's Beetlejuice, Mayor Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. From what I understand, she's actually been making deals with gang leaders. Now, to me, it's
really, that's crazy.
It is insane. A gang leader is a.
You know what you do? You set up a meeting with the gang leader to make it, and then you arrest him when he shows up. And you put him in jail.
Exactly. She's been actually making deals. And I'm like, did she see the correlation between her deal making with gang leaders and the bloodshed that's on the street, the body count?
That's crazy. Do you remember that TV show Hill Street Blues? Okay, I was watching Hill Street Blues. It's on Hulu, and I was watching Hill Street Blues, and it was like the grittiest show on TV. It's absurd if you watch it now. But I watched one of the episodes. Daniel J. Travanti was the captain. He had a summit with all the gang leaders. It was so bizarre, and they all had personalities. Like David Caruso from NYPD Blue, he was the head of the Irish mob, and he had a little cane and a hat. He looked like the Lucky Charms guy, And he had a summit, and he was making deals. So maybe she's a Hill Street Blues watcher, making deals with gang leaders. That's insanity.
Meeting the gang leaders, and
she won't do interviews with white reporters, right? But she'll meet with murderers and rapists and drug dealers.
A lying gang leader. She's a disgrace. As far as I'm concerned, I have no use.
So what kind of deal does she make? She can tell them how much crime they can do and where? What does she do? How much dope they can deal?
I guess that's what she's doing, Brian, but it makes absolute...
Well, to me, that sounds criminal. That sounds like she is conspiring with felons. That sounds like a crime.
It sounds the same to me as far as I was...
Isn't that what that is? I mean, does the mayor of Chicago have the legal authority to work out deals with criminals that allow them to continue to do crime?
You know what? That's a good question to me, Brian.
Yeah.
I said that's inherently crazy. It is absolutely.
That sounds like that to me. Now I don't know. Where did you see this? Because I'm just going by I'm just going by your good word.
I actually heard this over television. That was one of the things.
I'm gonna Google that. That's the first time I've heard this. It's amazing.
Please do, because I heard that, and I said, if that's what she's doing, no wonder the box.
If I left here today, here I am in Boca Raton. If I went out onto the streets of Boca, I met with the Boca gang members. Could you imagine? That there are no gang members. But if I went down the street to Deerfield, which is right down the road, I could find some. I go over there on Hammondville, over there by the strip clubs and the jail. If I went over there and I started making deals with these criminals, I think I would be considered an accessory and a criminal, and I'd get arrested. So I think if what you're saying is true, she's breaking the law.
But then again, Brian, this is Chicago, okay? And in Chicago, certain things always did go down. You remember? Chicago, Illinois?
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, if that is what she is doing, if that's the only way she thinks she can get a result, then she's a fool.
I've talked about this before. I know how to clean up Chicago, and it's easy. You offer a $5,000 cash reward to information leading to the arrest of anyone in illegal possession of a gun. I'm not talking about a gun buyback program where people bring in rusty old guns, I'm talking about if you call my tip line, like Crime Stoppers, and you know someone who has a gun that they are in possession of illegally, when we arrest them, and they have the gun, you get $5,000 cash, no questions asked. These gangbangers would be ratting each other out like nobody's business. Would clean up the city in an instant. I'm serious. Is that the dumb idea?
Yeah, well, you know what? It might be, Brian, but I just.
It might be what, a dumb idea or a good idea?
No, it could be a very good idea. But I was listening at Biden, and I'm like, you know what? Your voting legislation is already stalling. The same will happen here when you I guess in theory write up some gun.
They don't care. Biden doesn't care about gun control. The issue serves two purposes. It's a diversion from his border crisis, his gas prices, and his dementia, and it also throws an issue that make it look like they're doing something to their liberal intellectual elite.
Yeah, and I understand the vice president is going down there because El Trumpo is going to be down there. But see, here's the thing. In her area, she's going to El Paso, and I understand that our our forces are there in such a strong capacity that she really doesn't have. There's no danger to her there. There's no slip-ups there. So that's why she's going to El Paso.
Yeah.
Trump.
Yeah. I wonder what shoes she'll wear. She seems to be into her shoes a lot.
Whatever, Brian.
Yeah. All right. Take care, Yolanda. I got to run for a break. Thanks so much. 22 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
You've heard Steve Kane, Richie the bus driver, and many other Steve Kane listeners tell you about the great work Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental Care offers. Steve Kane listener, hey, called in, he had an accident, he went to Dr. Gupta, and he told us his story.
Good morning, Brian. My name's Hank. I'm calling from Hollywood. Brian, I'm calling you for a different thing. About a month or so ago, I called first thing in the morning because I fainted coming out of my bathroom. And I busted my 3 front teeth. I busted my chin, but I guess I fainted, I fell, I cracked my chin, it hit my upper teeth, and cracked my 3 front teeth. I want to thank you, and I really want to thank Dr. Gupta. I mean, besides the fact that my teeth look great, besides the fact that, you know, his assistant is really good, really nice, they're all really nice over there, the price was unbelievable. When I came home and I told my wife, she's like, I thought that thing was going to cost you 3 times as much. I said, so did I. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank Dr. Gupta. He's awesome. Appreciate your show. I listen to your show a lot. I only called in this is the second time. Both times, one was to make sure I'm going to the right office where Dr. Gupta was, and then this one to let you know that
Timberlands?
I know you know he's great.
No, I think Mayor Lightfoot probably be wearing the Timberlands, if you know what I mean.
Awesome. Well, listen, I'm glad you had a great experience with Dr.
Yeah, I did. Thank you again, Brian.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, and thank Steve, and you guys keep up the good work over there. I appreciate it. Dr. Gupta, you keep up the good work, too.
All right, there we go.
So everybody keep up.
All right, I think you guys just heard what will be the new commercial for Dr. Gupta. Do what Hank did. Call Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. For Steve Kane listeners, free consultations. And always the best price. Give Dr. Gupta a call right now. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. Steve Kane radio listeners love Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
I went over to a Champagne Automotive, and I gotta say that this man is the most fair mechanic I have dealt with in my entire life. We took a car over there that was not being used yet. You know, it belonged to my 90-year-old dad. Everybody I had taken it to before was charging an astronomical amount of money. But when we took it over there, Eddie took a look at it, and I gotta say that this man fixed the car, it's running like a charm. Anybody that needs a mechanic, I strongly recommend Eddie, and he is just the best thing that's happened to this family as far as car maintenance goes. It's fixed. Bottom line, it's fixed, and the price was right.
Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
What?
They'll do a repair on your car that your car doesn't need. And their prices are low. Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca. Give them a call. 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Listen to the Steve
Oh my gosh, it is pouring outside.
Just search for WWNN.
Oh man, it is pouring outside. Holy smokes. Oh man, it looks like tropical storm weather. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, Cassandra.
Yes, Doug.
Rudy was on One American News yesterday, and he made a pretty good comparison. He says, you know, blaming guns is like blaming a car when somebody's drunk and drives and hurts somebody or kills somebody. You know, he said there's 100 million illegal guns, and all it's going to do is let the criminals keep guns and take the guns away from the good citizens.
Yeah.
This is exactly what this Biden is talking about, taking our guns away.
Well, the only thing Biden blamed yesterday were law-abiding gun owners and law-abiding gun sellers. He didn't have a negative word for criminals.
That's fine. You know, I think you're right. I think you're just talking to talk and let people think he wants to do something, because I can't see how this would even go through Congress. You know, because I think everybody knows guns are what we're supposed to have.
Well, yeah, that's right. Thanks for the call, Doug. You know, see, this is another thing too. You know, Guns are part of American life. You know, this is a country that was founded on a revolution, and it is a gun culture where, you know, people were hunting and everything else, and that's just the way it is. This is not Canada. That's right. This is not the UK. Okay? This is the United States. So none of these things are ever going to happen. Now, I just mentioned this because I am getting so many messages from people. Yes, I am aware that a building collapsed in Miami. I'll tell you, I'll just go through this real quick and then I'll tell you why I'm not talking about it. A 12-story apartment building collapsed around 1:30 a.m. at 88th Street in Collins. The oceanfront building, an apartment complex called Champlain Tower South, has partially collapsed. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue confirmed that more than 80 units remain on the scene. At least one woman has died, 9 people injured, including a firefighter who's injured. There are fears that more may be dead. They brought in cadaver dogs. It's a terrible story. I mentioned this at 6 because I got people who were giving me a hard time. I just want to explain it to you. This is a terrible story. It was a building collapse. It looks awful. And we're not the news. We are not news readers where we read facts. Okay, if we were, like if I'm on the news, I would say, Dateline, Miami Beach, a 12-story Miami Beach apartment building collapses, leaving at least one dead. Amid fears, more are trapped beneath the rubble in upmarket neighborhood where Jared and Ivanka Trump have a home. That's not talk radio. In talk radio, you have to have what we call the hook. There has to be a hook. And what the hook is a way to go with the story, a controversy with the story, something like that. This isn't like a, so if we find out something that is, you know, has a hook to it on the, right now it's just a terrible tragedy. It's a terrible tragedy. There's no doubt about it. Although I don't know how nice of an apartment building this is, and not just because something has is in Miami Beach and has an ocean view doesn't mean it's nice. There's a lot of dumpy places on the beach in Florida. You'd be surprised. But because we have a lot of beach. And a lot of Miami is a dump. So I don't know the condition of the building prior. If there is if there's something that comes out today, I hope this rain stops before 9 o'clock. I don't have my umbrella. If something comes out today that is a controversy or something where we could have a discussion, we would talk about it. You know, like, I don't want to even start speculating because I'm not, because it looks right now it looks like an accident. Right now it's just a terrible story. There's nowhere to have a discussion on that. So that's why we're not talking about it, because there's nothing to say about it at this point, and maybe ever. And, best case scenario was just a terrible accident. But does that make sense to you guys? Do you understand why we're not talking about it now? Because I am getting so many DMs on Twitter. I'm getting text messages, so that's, it's just a terrible story. I mean, but there's nowhere to take that story within the realm of talk radio. Now, before we take our break at the bottom of the hour, and Steve will be joining us after not this break, the next break, I want to ask you guys a question about Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson has done something that has not happened since Star Trek The Next Generation had its first run in syndication on TV. I would go out of my way, Star Trek The Next Generation aired at 7 p.m. Saturday nights on Channel 29 here in South Florida, and we didn't have DVRs back then, so I would make sure that I was home Saturday nights at 7 to catch Star Trek. That was in its first run. But Tucker Carlson has become must-watch television. He's always been good, Tucker Carlson. Don't misunderstand me. He's been good for a long time. But what Tucker Carlson has been doing lately is beyond good. And I can honestly, and by the way, the Star Trek thing, I was 16 at the time. So, 15, 16 in 1987 when that was debuting on television. January 87, so I was 15 still until April. I cannot think of a television news program that I would make sure that I caught, like I'm doing right now with Tucker Carlson. unless there was like a big tragedy. I mean, like obviously, you know, when there's a disaster, like after 9/11, we were watching the news all the time, you know, what's going on. But what I'm talking about is just in a regular news cycle, I find myself, oh, look what time it is. It's almost 8 o'clock. Let me put Tucker on. Let me put Fox on, because Tucker Carlson. Are any of you doing that lately? Are any of you I would imagine a lot of you are doing the same thing. So what's happening with Tucker Carlson? Why is Fox News allowing him to do what it is he's doing? He is, you know what he's doing? I'll tell you what he's doing. I'm going to use a MAGA phrase. Tucker Carlson is draining the swamp. He's talking about everything and everyone, and he's going after everything and everyone on very, very controversial things. And I know we've all had a lot of problems with Fox for good reason. And all of our criticism of what they've done is justified. But Tucker Carlson is doing outstanding work. And, you know, Bill O'Reilly was very good when he was on there. But he couldn't hold a candle to what Tucker's doing. I have never seen a cable news show. Now, again, I'm talking about in a regular news cycle where there's not, you know, where, you know, like when Operation Iraqi Freedom, you didn't want to miss a thing. You know, you understand what I mean? We're in a regular news cycle where he's just dealing with the news of the day. I don't think I have ever made sure that I don't miss at least the first segment of a cable news program before, every night at 8, and I'm doing it with Tucker, and I know I'm not alone. So why is it? Why is Fox allowing him to report on these incredibly controversial stories that they really want to cover up? And there's not just one, there's a lot of them. I don't know. If you have any thoughts on that, so I'd like to hear from some of you. Are you guys finding yourself making Tucker Carlson must-see TV? You know, and that says a lot for me, because a lot of times when there's something coming on that's that big and important of a show, I'll say, well, you know what, I can catch it in the morning. If something big happens, I'll find out about it, and I'll go and watch it online in the morning before I go on the air. But I'm finding myself, like, if I don't have Tucker on at 8 o'clock, like I'm missing something. It's that good lately. I don't know why Paul Ryan's Fox News channel is allowing him to do it, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. One, are you finding that Tucker Carlson has become must-see TV, especially the first segment where you want to see what he leads with? And two, why do you think Fox News is letting him do this? You know who I haven't seen for a long time on Fox News? Chris Wallace. I know he's got his show on Sundays, but I don't watch that. And it used to be, not that long ago, Chris Wallace was on every show, yucking it up with whoever was on, giving his viewpoints on things. And if they didn't have Chris Wallace on the show, they were playing a clip from his weekend show about what he asked someone. And I haven't seen Chris Wallace there in a long time. But why are they letting Tucker do what it is that he's been doing yesterday, which I think is the most exciting cable news that we have ever seen? Really, it truly is. All right, your thoughts are welcome on that. It is 36 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, always here with you Monday through Friday from 6 until 9 a.m. We'll take our break. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's K-A-N-E, and the number 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new
Steve Kane Show.
We install every
Hey.
kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954
Be right back, guys.
4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Brian Craig here. I've been telling you for years how great My Pillow products are, but don't just take my word for it. This is one of our listeners, Todd. He bought the My Pillow mattress topper, and he called us live on the radio to tell us about his experience with the My Pillow mattress topper.
Yeah, I'm calling to get testimonial about my pillow topper.
You ordered the My Pillow, the mattress topper?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Well, I was thinking about buying a new mattress. My old mattress was getting old, so my wife's like, "Why don't you try that pillow, that mattress topper?" I went on. I used your promo code Kane. I got great price. Got it home, and I've been using it for the last 3 nights. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's like a whole new mattress.
I've talked to other listeners with the My Pillow mattress topper, and they come in all sizes. The mattress companies have turned into con artists. When I was a kid, mattresses were two-sided. You'd have the mattress, then after a while you'd flip it over. Now you can't flip mattresses anymore. They don't make them that way anymore because people weren't buying mattresses enough. So the mattress company stopped making two-sided mattresses, and mattresses are expensive. I've had to buy a new mattress, and mattresses can cost well over, just for a regular normal mattress, over $1,000. So that My Pillow mattress topper is a big savings. It saved you from buying a new mattress and turned your whole bed into a My Pillow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I really love it. I sleep really good.
Well, that's great. Well, I appreciate that. You guys out there, remember, promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. Now, when you use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com, save 30% off your My Pillow mattress topper and receive 2 free My Pillows. But you've got to use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. 30% off the My Pillow mattress topper. Turn your old mattress into a big My Pillow mattress. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to
Man, it is coming down outside.
1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. 20 minutes before 8. I just got the signal. Steve, you ready? You with us? Oh, I just got a text that said Steve is ready when you are. Well, I guess you're ready now.
I'm ready.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Well, I got a call. We're going to take a call or two, and then we'll jump into this because I was talking about this thing with Tucker. All right, you're on the radio. What's your name?
This is Linda in Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Linda.
Hey, Linda.
Hi, good morning. I have 2 points. When the drums beat for Tucker's intro, I must be in front of my TV.
Yeah.
I have to get, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Never miss it. And as far as the Surfside collapse goes, aside from normal wear and tear deterioration, my mind always goes to a possible payoff to the supervisors to cut corners.
Well, I don't know. No, what I was talking about, Steve. Okay, this building that collapsed in Miami. I have been getting contacted since 6 a.m. from people that think we should be talking about it, and I was explaining the idea of the hook. It's a terrible story. At least one person died, but there's
Talk radio story.
unless some controversy comes out today or tomorrow about how it happened, you know. But there's other than it being a sad story, there's nothing to say about it in talk radio. Does that make sense?
Fact.
I don't know. It looked like I saw some aerial shots, and I know they want to say that Jared and Ivanka live nearby, but you know, it looks like a dump. Looked like Jared and Ivanka Trump, they live down in Miami. A lot of people live in Miami. This building kind of looked like a dump before it collapsed. I was looking at some aerial footage. It didn't look like it was pristine South Beach property to me.
were cut.
Okay, all right. Well, let's not speculate. We'll not speculate. Let's talk about what we do know. I was talking a little bit about Tucker right before the break, though, Steve, and I cannot think of another cable news show that I made sure that I was in front of at 8 o'clock to catch other than Tucker lately. And I can't remember ever doing that for any other show. I'll just set my DVR and watch it later or something. I've not done this for anyone.
Speaking about hooks, and go into the mechanics of how talk radio works or should work, but the news start as news stories and evolve into talk radios.
Yeah.
For example, we had one here recently. There was a crash down in Dade County. Remember, a piece of the overpass fell down?
Oh, yeah, that was like a couple years ago. The road that fell on the people? Yeah. With the Lady Construction Company or something, that one? Yeah.
If you wait long enough, there's always a hook, because the news people,
yeah,
it's good business.
Yeah.
Find the scandal.
Yeah. So if there's a scandal, we may talk about it. But
there is. You can always find it.
Well, it is Miami. Which is a banana republic down there. It's pretty. A lot of corrupt officials down there. But we'll find out.
Racial banana. That's not a racial slur, is it?
All Latin America is the only place in Latin America that's not third world is Puerto Rico, that's owned by the United States, and even that's a banana republic. Look how they ran the hurricane. The locals down there, the local government. So Latin American culture, their government it's a culture of corruption.
We're talking about we're down in Miami. It looks like there's going to be something coming out of this.
I have no idea what that's about. I don't know what you're referencing. Oh, the building? You're talking about the building? Oh, the building. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have suspicions, but I'm not going to speculate. Obviously, yesterday our calls were heard by the Trump organization, because yesterday it came out that President Trump has changed the location of his Florida rally from Tampa to Sarasota. And have you been to Sarasota in the last few years? Probably not. It's on the West Coast. Okay, Sarasota is a beautiful town on the Gulf Coast of Florida. I will never live there because I'm not a multimillionaire. But it is not Tampa. Tampa is a Democrat dump. Sarasota is an upscale conservative area. So President Trump's people have moved the rally to Sarasota from Tampa, which is south of Tampa, and it's so that's that tells me that they were rethinking what they were doing, having that Democrat Tampa. So that's a very wise thing. You guys Google it online. You can find out how to get tickets to the event. It's July 3rd, President Trump's Sarasota rally. But I'm glad they moved it to Sarasota from Tampa. So somebody from the organization must have been listening to the two of us yesterday, Steve, talking about our concern for Tampa. Good morning. You're on the radio, caller. It's going.
Mr. Wellington.
Yes.
I was chiming in on Miami a little bit. Yeah, I mean, for years it's been a dump. They can't get nothing done with the roads. They can't get nothing done right out there. Every project takes 3 years, and then it takes 10 years to fix. That's just how it rolls.
Well, listen, is what Latin America country is not a banana republic? And that's what's running Dade County. So that's it. I went down to I was down in Miami Beach the other day, Steve. My thanks for the call. My wife's doctors, her specialists are in Miami Beach. That's why we took off the other day, and it was the first time she had seen her doctors since the pandemic, because Miami's been locked down pretty hard, and it's a police state down there. To get to they had armed security making sure Germany.
Deteriorated. I mean, Miami used to be, when I lived, believe it or not, in Miami Beach when I was a kid. I went to Northwest High School down here, and it was gorgeous. I mean,
yeah.
The Eden Rock, and we every year a new hotel would open, and with Benny Novak, I remember, and all that. And so what you're seeing is a decayed remnant.
Oh, it's a dump down there. It's a dump. You know what it is? It's one of those S-hole places that Trump always talks about. Most of it.
I hate to say it, but you can find parallels with New York City.
Oh, yes.
As I watch with a broken heart my hometown and the town I was raised in, and I take a look at what's happened there, it's the same thing. It's just deteriorated.
And I'll tell you an interesting thing about Steve and this is true. This is true. You went to Nautilus Middle School, and it was
Saul Lichter.
Yeah.
Actually, he was an English teacher.
Yeah. Now.
Principal.
Now this is so long ago. You know, this is when Florida was run by the Democrats. Okay, this is when Florida was run by the Democrats, and when Steve went to middle school at Nautilus Middle School in Miami Beach, it was racially.
This was a junior.
Junior. That's middle school. Oh, they didn't have middle schools yet. Well, let me finish because when Steve went to Nautilus Junior High School, which is still in existence today, it was racially segregated. The school's still open. It's racially segregated, just in reverse, right? Now these days, it's if you go down to that area, it used to be all white. Now it's the opposite. That's right. It's still racially segregated. But
area down there, the area in Meridian Drive.
Yeah, that's where I was. My wife's doctor is down there at Mount Sinai, so I go down there all the time. And that one area is very nice. I mean, it's still they've kept that one area kind of nice. But I made a mistake a couple years ago. I was down in North Miami with my daughter, and I said, you know, I've never taken the Metro Rail before. Let's take the Metro Rail to Miami Beach instead of driving there. Now, what would have been a 15-minute drive was a 2-hour and 15-minute Metro Rail ride. But yeah, I'd forgotten how bad. Well. I saw parts of Miami I've never seen before that I never want to see again. I mean, Miami is really, it's really bad. I mean, you know, it's a dump. Miami is a dump, people. I'm sorry to tell you. You know, that's just the way it is. And South Beach has been destroyed. You would be shocked if you went to South Beach on any day of the week. What's turned into South Beach. All right, now listen, let's take our last break. If you're on hold, stand by. Last break of this hour, because we still got an hour and 10 minutes to go. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing
Steve Kane Show
industry since 1982. We are state
Hold on.
of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today. Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for www.
You do the house calls with Soul Authority, don't you, Steve?
As a matter of fact, by a strange coincidence, they're coming over to visit
Oh. Okay, yeah, and the doctor, she comes right to your house, does everything right at home. Yeah, do you clean the house up before she comes over, or do you leave the place a mess? What do you do? Oh. Oh. Okay. I'm sure they're happy about that. Yeah. No, but the Soul Authority, by the way, the doctor, she does come to the house. If you're within the listening range of our radio station, you can call them and talk to them about that. And everything that they do, both the diabetic shoes and podiatry, they do house calls for. So give them a call about that. It's pretty convenient. By the way, they did that before COVID. We just didn't promote it before COVID. And we started talking, people didn't want to go out last year, so we started promoting it. But they've always done that, and they're very good at it, very professional. They have a whole organizational setup for that. It's very, very efficient. All right, good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
It's Mel in Boca. Good morning.
Hey, Mel.
Good morning, guys. Since the election, the only two news shows I listen to are 6 to 9 in the morning.
Yeah, that's great.
And Tucker. And yeah, sure, I love you guys. And Tucker. Everything else is off because, as far as I'm concerned, we've lost our justice.
Well, let me ask you this about... See, this thing with Tucker is very interesting, and it's not about the specific things he did last night or the night before. Every night, he's going after everybody and everything. He's hitting whatever the controversies are of today, and it's like Fox News, we always talk about Paul Ryan being on the board of directors and a lot of never-Trumpers. What do you think's going on over there that allows Tucker Carlson this freedom?
I'll tell you what I think, and I'm going to test your memory. Maybe mine is wrong. Tucker floated an idea of going to Newsmax. He was in a contract negotiation with Fox. Do you remember this?
I do not. No, I didn't know about this.
Remember it?
Yes.
It was right around the time with all the controversy.
Oh. Oh.
He was going to leave Fox and go to Newsmax.
Wow.
Died. My belief is that he cut a deal with Fox, and they were in a weak position. Fox was in a weak position. And he said, I'm going to do things
my way.
Not like, but I'll be gone if you don't let me do this.
So that sounds very, very possible. Very possible.
I know. That's what I think
happened.
And
he made a deal with Fox to have them cut him some slack.
Or it would be very, very expensive if they did.
I only have one criticism for Tucker. Whose idea was it to have Rose McGowan on last night to talk about Britney Spears?
Spontaneous happening.
It was a mistake.
It was, but that's what happens. See, that's why Tucker's great. He'll take risks.
Yeah.
They implied that it might have something to do with Britney, which was the hot story of the day yesterday. But he took a chance, and it was a loser.
Taking risks 2 years ago or a year and a half ago.
Right.
Only after this contract negotiation, and now,
Well, let me tell you, okay, Tucker Carlson, this is an interesting thing, okay. That time slot, that 8 o'clock time slot on Fox, it started with Bill O'Reilly. He started with Fox when they first went on in '94. And, well, he turned, yeah, but that time slot has always been number one, okay? And when O'Reilly left, they brought in Megyn Kelly with the transparent desk, doing all that tease to try to get viewers. And she had very good ratings, and then she left. And then when they brought Tucker in, his ratings skyrocketed beyond the two of them. And Tucker Carlson... Yeah, Tucker Carlson. But Tucker Carlson's ratings, he has the highest ratings in the history of cable news, higher than Larry King, who had no competition. He was the only cable news guy on. So, yeah, I don't remember that Newsmax talk, but it sounds possible.
It's my way or the highway, and they folded. And good for him.
Yeah, he did. He's very good. And I'll tell you something. He's got. I used to watch him when he was hosting Crossfire on CNN, and he was okay then. But he's perfected his craft.
it comes down to the same word, risk. He takes risks, and that's why people are interested in the show, because other shows, Hannity is, of all the shows, is the most predictable. And it's like, if you've seen one Hannity show, you've seen them all. With Tucker, you never know what you're going to get. But those deals sometimes are a little tenuous, and you never know, how long it's going to live. And that's why people tune in, to see how far Tucker will push the...
I think you're right. It's not the like last night he was talking about the vaccine. Last week the FBI. It's not what the topic is. You're trying to find out what barrier he's going to break tonight.
All the talk shows it's been in to be on the right side and to...
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I need more info. I don't know where you're going. Well, let me ask you, caller. When was the... I want you to think about this. Have you ever had another cable news show that you would make sure you didn't miss every night? Can you think of another time?
I can't, but I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Where you get it, I tell you where you get the feeling. You get the feeling.
Thanks for the call, Mel, by the way. Yeah.
Same feeling on radio used to with Rush. I would always listen to Rush's first hour religiously, because in that he would capture all the latest developments and the latest in kind of things that people are looking for. And by the time we got to the second hour, if I saw it, if I heard it, fine. If I didn't, fine. But the first hour of Rush had that excitement that you knew you were going to hear something new, something that was breaking.
Yeah, and with Tucker, it's like that first segment. I make sure I catch the first segment, because that's going to be what his hot lead is. And, one thing, too, he does, he's gotten a lot better, because people may not remember when he was on Crossfire. It was back when he wore bow ties. And do you know why? There was something happened on Crossfire that stopped him wearing the bow ties on a dime. Jon Stewart was on Crossfire and was really nasty with Tucker, and Tucker didn't do very well against Jon Stewart. He was caught off guard because he thought it was going to be a friendly interview, because he was like an comedic guy, and he got nasty, liberal, and he made fun of his bow tie, and really nasty. I'm sure it's on YouTube if you want to find it. And he stopped wearing the bow ties on a dime. But he is the tops in his field, and there has not been anyone in cable news who has been doing what he's doing. He's what I would say, he's like draining the swamp, is what he's doing. It started, to me, I noticed the change when he came out with that story about Kevin McCarthy living with that liberal pollster, Luntz. And that was the first time I noticed this big change in the content, and it's just been boom, 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 boom. All right, it is 8 o'clock, so we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. And when we get back, we'll get back to your calls, and there's a lot more to talk about, too, so don't go anywhere. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Steve Kane, of course, is here. I'm Brian. We'll be right back with the third and final hour after this.
Covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Quote, I affirm that I will defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, unquote. The pledge to defend the Constitution is a pledge of action. A promise to defend the Constitution...
Hey guys, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. I'm going to get into something I saw on One American News about the breach that has blew my mind. And everybody in there, if you could do me the favor of liking the video. If you're in the chat, close out the chat, then like the video, and then reopen the chat. And if you're watching like on your TV, go to your mobile device, your computer, whatever it is, where you can like the video.
That means secure the economy. Biden canceled the XL pipeline, and then he lifted sanctions on Russia so they can build a pipeline to a domestic enemy. But President Biden is just a figurehead. It's the Democrat Party that is the domestic enemy of the American people.
Attention seniors, Debbie from I Will Advisors has launched I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will make all of your doctor's appointments for you, handle your pharmacy issues, including refills, billing problems. They'll even make sure your prescriptions are filled. They'll review your doctor's bills to make sure they are correct. If you're in the hospital and you need an advocate to get the care you need, I Will Advocates, they'll do that too. They'll handle your Medicare and Medicaid applications, and that's just the beginning. They do a lot more too. Give Debbie and her team at I Will Advocates a call right now. 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Online, IWillAdvocates.com. Never worry about your health care ever again. Let I Will Advocates handle everything for you. 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Steve Kane radio listeners love Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
I went over to a Champagne Automotive, and I gotta say that this man is the most fair mechanic I have dealt with in my entire life. We took a car over there that was not being used yet. You know, it belonged to my 90-year-old dad. Everybody I had taken it to before was charging an astronomical amount of money. But when we took it over there, Eddie took a look at it, and I gotta say that this man fixed the car, it's running like a charm. Anybody that needs a mechanic, I strongly recommend Eddie, and he is just the best thing that's happened to this family as far as car maintenance goes. It's fixed. Bottom line, it's fixed, and the price was right.
Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your car that your car doesn't need. And their prices are low. Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca. Give them a call. 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show.
Steve Kane Show.
The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-COCAINE-1. That's 1-888-COCAINE-1.
All right, third hour has begun. It's 5 after 8. Steve Kane here. I'm Brian. Before we get back, because I talked in the first hour, but Steve and I haven't talked about Biden's gun control crap yesterday, but I wanted to share with you something I caught on One American News this morning before I came into the radio station. This blew my mind. And yesterday, I don't have One American News on my cable, so I had to subscribe to their app, and I canceled the subscription the other day because I wasn't watching it. And the next day they had like an amazing story that One American News. One American News, they have an evening show. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's on during that Greg Kelly, Tucker Carlson block area. So I know a lot of people aren't watching it, but they had a story on the Capitol breach, Steve, on One American News last night that blew my mind. I got to tell you guys about this because I know most of you don't watch One America. You watch One American News, though. Yeah. Okay, here's the story. Now, we have not gotten a lot of video or personal photographs from the Capitol breach because they've arrested about 500 people, and when they arrest them, they confiscate all their electronic devices. So the government has the pictures and they don't release them. There's a guy who's a citizen journalist who was right there at the front of the Capitol who was videotaping in high-definition video. They showed the video on One American News that I'm about to describe. He was right there at the window that got broken, and he picked up on some things that have not been reported anywhere before until One American News last night. He has up-close photographs with masks off showing the faces of the 2 guys that broke the window at the Capitol building, okay? These 2 guys, that one window where people crawled through? The 2 guys break the window, and then the MAGA people stop them. Say, what are you doing? Don't do that. Don't go through that window. Police come up, the Capitol Police. They're about to arrest him. No, Not the MAGA. They're about to arrest the two guys that broke the window. They're not in MAGA gear. The two guys that broke the window are not in Trump gear. These two guys, they break the window. They're not in Trump gear. The MAGA people say, what are you doing? Don't do that. Don't go into that window. Don't do that. The Capitol Police come over to arrest him. They talk to him for a moment. Some words you can't hear are exchanged. They let them walk away. Then the Capitol Police abandoned the window and left it unguarded. And this guy's got it all on video. He showed it last night on One American News. And then he said, this was amazing, he's keeping track of everything. He said these two guys whose names he has and have been identified have not been arrested. They've arrested 500 people. The two guys that they know the identity of have not been arrested. And he said, the FBI has like a most wanted list or something with the breachers trying to identify people. They're not on that list either. So that was a pretty big breaking story last night on One American News. And what I make of that is it goes back to Tucker Carlson's show last week when he was talking about who was really behind this. It was very strange. I'm sure it will be rerun on One American News, so you might catch it today, Steve. It was on one of their prime time shows. I saw it on Twitter this morning, and it blew my mind. The show's called America's Voice or something. It's on sometime between 7 and 9 at night. I'm not exactly sure what time.
Shows on America One, I think you make a big mistake if you leave that off your view.
Well, you know what the problem is? Okay, during the day, their news coverage, they're just boring. And they have some good stuff on at night, but at night you got Tucker Carlson, you got Greg Kelly. I just, you know what I mean? I just don't see myself watching them over Tucker or Greg Kelly on Newsmax.
If you're somebody that switches around the dial a little bit,
yeah,
and go back and forth between two stations and things like this, having America One as one of the stations,
yeah,
can fill in a lot of the.
Maybe, yeah, I know. I mean, I know I give them a hard time sometimes for being boring, but that was a mistake I made about that yesterday. I was mistaken. I mean, that story I just shared with you, I saw it on Twitter, and I did not retweet. I'll see if I can find it again to retweet it. It was pretty shocking stuff.
The thing is just to find a way to get America One as. When I'm watching talk radio television, when I'm watching that kind of programming, I've always got my dial set to two different stations, and I go back between them. So it's America. Usually, I go back and forth between America One
and Fox. Yeah, you don't watch Newsmax like I do all the time. You're not on Newsmax. That's too bad. You can't watch everything.
Twice the range if you get in the habit of always ringing in two stations.
The thing is, I don't have One America News on my cable system, so I have to watch it online. I have to watch it on an online app, so I can flip back and forth. It's $5 a month. It's not that. It's just I can't watch it on TV. It's on an app.
Between two.
You can't. I don't have the channel. It's not on my cable system. I don't have One American News on my cable system. You have it on. You have the dish. You got it on the dish. That's part of the problem. It's not available. You cannot get it on my cable. It's blocked out. All right, let's go back to the phones. 1-888 go Kane 1. Good morning. You're on the air. Good morning. Yes, you're on the air. What's your name?
Henry out of Aventura.
Steve
I have
Kane
an
Show.
update for you, if I may.
Hey,
July 27th, you have a debate on CRT.
Critical race theory. By the way, slow down there. It's critical race theory. The news and the Democrats are trying to get you to call it CRT so you can forget what it is. That's why it's all of a sudden CRT.
They were teaching the CRT, and the people went silent. And then they said, "What is that?" And I had to tell them critical race theory. But I wanted people to know, because I saw that woman in New York and I saw that other that you show up, let them know what your feelings are about them.
Well, I'll tell you, with the critical race theory, okay, I have not seen a single parent who says, I support critical race theory, I want my kids to learn about it in the classroom. I've not heard any of that. I hear college professors, corrupt school board members. I don't hear any parents with kids in the schools saying, I want this in my kid's classroom. You know what they're talking about doing now, Steve, because of this? They're talking about, this is a new movement nationwide. They're talking about having cameras in every classroom so that parents anytime can see what's going on in their kid's classroom. I love that idea. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't want to give out numbers that I don't know from people I don't know, but it's next month at the school board. People that want to know can find out. Oh, look who we have on the line, Attorney Barry Siegel. Hey, Attorney Barry Siegel.
Barry, how are you? Excellent.
Doing great. Great. Yesterday I was helping a client, a widowed lady. She was in with her son, and she was getting her estate planning done. Son, married, child, and hasn't done any estate planning yet. And, he said he needs to get to it, but still not ready to do it. And it's one of those things, somebody who's got a spouse and kids, obviously that's something that's so important. And, God forbid something happens to the parents, who's going to take care of the minor child? And then I wake up this morning and hear this horrible news about the building in Surfside. And I'm from Northgate. I remember seeing that building being built, and then to hear what happened this morning, it's just heartbreaking. And it just reminds me how precious life is, and how we don't know what's going to happen day to day, moment to moment, and how critical it is to make sure that we have everything in place, because we take it for granted that we have our next day and next moment, and that everything's going to be great. So just important to make sure that we take care of everything, take care of ourselves, take care of our family.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder when somebody meets with you and they're reluctant to finish out their estate planning, I can't understand why they would avoid doing that, because I have talked to so many Steve Kane listeners that have gone to Attorney Barry Siegel. They get their estate plan in order through Attorney Barry Siegel and the Siegel Law Group, and every one of them gives me the same response. They feel a sense of relief. It's like a big weight is off their shoulder. They got nothing. Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, you have some new grandkids that weren't there last time. Yeah, you might do one. Yeah. Now listen, Attorney Barry Siegel, the Siegel Law Group. It's a free consultation with the Siegel Law Group. Let me give you the number, and if you missed this, it's listed at SteveKaneShow.com. 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. Online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Barry, we'll finish out the week tomorrow. All right, you take care. Now, I got to tell you guys, Steve, just a few minutes ago, it was raining like cats and dogs outside. I mean, it's raining every day when I leave the house. We are in rainy season. We are in hurricane season. And Tom Laporta over at Laporta Contracting will do a free inspection of your roof. Okay? And you want to get this done. If you see a wet spot on your ceiling, I don't care how small it is, you very well could have a big problem, because by the time it gets to the ceiling, level, what you've got up at the roof is a big puddle. And what's going on at Steve's house is from neglect of not calling Tom Laporta. We didn't know Tom then. We found him since. But Steve had wet spot here, a wet spot there, everywhere a wet spot, and did nothing about it for quite some time. Exactly. And what Steve has had to do is not only get a whole new roof, but it's caused structural damage throughout the home, as well as the water leakage down into the drywall. The home is, well, just infected with black mold all over the place, and it's a major issue. If you see that first wet spot, you call Tom Laporta. He does that free inspection. You might just need a simple repair.
does general engineering work.
Yeah.
Can clean up all the mess and all those other problems he finds.
Oh, yeah.
The roof area.
Yeah.
And investing in your roof before the storm season hits.
Yeah, I mean, this rain that we're seeing each and every day, or you don't want that kind of damage on your roof to get neglected. And, since he's a contractor, he's handling everything for Steve. One of your upper walls, which is rotted out from the damage, the black mold removal and replacement, he's handling everything. And which helps a lot when you're just dealing with one guy. So listen, call Tom Laporta. He's not only a great guy, he's a MAGA guy. And this number rings directly to his cell phone. He'll give you that free roof inspection. It's 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com. All right, now, this gun control business that they're talking about yesterday. I was talking about this in the first hour, but I got some sound bites I wanted to go over with you, Steve, with this, too. Biden came out yesterday. His problem is with people that are legal gun owners and licensed gun dealers. I didn't hear him say anything bad about the criminals that are doing the gun crime. He was making excuses for the criminals. He wants to restrict people that don't break the law, it seems to me. Let me play some of these clips. This one here, this one was just, they're all absurd. This is Sleepy Joe.
Here's another example that reminds me of the old saying my mom used to use. She said, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. Well, school's out for the summer. Teenagers are in tough neighborhoods.
Yeah, I guess that's from his experience raising Hunter Biden, is the devil's workshop.
Here's another example that reminds me of the old saying my mom used to use. She said, an idle mind is a devil's workshop.
Idle mind.
I thought it was idle hands or a devil's workshop. Isn't it? Idle hands are a devil's workshop?
Biden sure doesn't know.
Yeah, but...
The summer. Teenagers are in tough neighborhoods. Who are in tough neighborhoods? No jobs, more trouble. We know summer job training, summer jobs, training, and recreation for young people work. They help make sure young people pick up a paycheck instead of a pistol. One study found in Boston Summer Jobs Program for Youth Reduction reduced violence crimes by 35% in Boston. Another study found that a program that offers high school students in Chicago a good summer job and an adult mentor and behavioral therapy led to a 45% drop in violence.
So this is his idea. Go to those gangbanger drug dealers that are 15 and 16 that are making $1,000 a week dealing dope tax-free. Give them a job at Burger King making $7 an hour. They're going to make like $80 a week, and they'll start picking up that $80 paycheck and walk away from the $1,000 a week that they're getting dealing dope. What a stupid idea. What a dumb idea he's got there, Biden. Well, okay, let me see. Yeah, let's see here. What else do we got here? Okay, here we go.
The Second Amendment from the day it was passed limited the type of people who could own a gun.
Okay, now we'll stop there on that. That is not true. The Second Amendment didn't limit the kind of people that could have guns, but the Democrats passed their first gun control legislation at a local level shortly after the Constitution was ratified in 1787. You know what that was, Steve, right?
That blacks could not own guns.
Correct. So that's what he's talking. That's what happens when you're raised by segregationist Klansmen. Yes, that's right. They didn't want to have. They immediately passed. It wasn't the U.S. Constitution. It was local laws in the slave states. Blacks were not allowed to own guns because they found it difficult to enslave a people that were armed. So, and I didn't hear one pundit talking about this pick up on that. Yeah, I was waiting because that's like a give me. All right, let's get back to this. What a piece of work this guy is.
The Second Amendment from the day it was passed limited the type of people who could own a gun and what type of weapon you could own. You couldn't buy a cannon. Those who say the blood of the...
Okay, cannons are not guns. Okay, so cannons were not covered by the Second Amendment because they're not guns.
Those who say the blood of patriots, and and all the stuff about how we're going to have to move against the government. Well,
don't tread on me and all that stuff, all that crap.
About how we're going to have to move against the government. Well, the tree of liberty is not water with the blood of patriots. What's happened is that there never been, if you wanted to think you need to have weapons to take on the government, you need F-15s and maybe some nuclear weapons.
Okay. It's not hard. He talks so slow. It's easy to write along. I don't even need to use cursive. I can print and keep up with his slow speak. But, he says to go up against the government, you need nuclear weapons and F-15s. Then I guess the Capitol breach was not an insurrection. Then none of them had guns. None of them had F-15s or nukes. They were completely unarmed. How could that be an insurrection? He said you need to have nuclear weapons and fighter jet planes.
Question.
I hope the defense attorneys for these breachers use that in the defense of their clients. It cannot be an insurrection, according to Joe Biden, because you've got to have nuclear weapons and F-15s to have an insurrection against the government, and none of them were present there. Oh, my goodness. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Speak up. Speak up. This sounds like this is going to be a butte. Yeah. I can't understand a word you're saying, caller.
The cat was eaten by an alligator.
The cat was...
Oh, my cat was eaten by an alligator. Thanks a lot, jerk. Do you feel good? Do you feel good about yourself now? Do you feel good? Oh, he's out of material because he thought he would be hung up on by then. You know what? You know what's scary to me? This is a grown man. This is a grown man. You okay, Steve? Oh, my goodness. Oh, he hung up. He's out of material. He's out of material. We must be winning if he's taking pleasure in my cat being gone. What a jerk. What a jerk. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. What's your name?
My name is Maria. I'm from Florida.
Hey, Maria.
Maria.
How y'all doing this morning?
We're doing good. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I just called to say, oh my God, what kind of president we got in the Oval Office? This is nuts.
Yeah.
Really crazy. You want to take away people's rights now? I mean, is that enough? You have people's in lockdown. They can't be on social media if they are a certain party, and you just continue demonizing America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's wrong with this guy?
Well, I was talking about this in the first hour. This is an important thing to know. Democrats, well, let me ask you, caller, who do you think is responsible for the most gun sales in this country? Yeah, that's right, yeah. Gun stores are out of stock. They don't have guns and they don't have ammo. They're sold out. And the guns are sold as soon as they're delivered because of Biden. This was the same thing with Obama. And they know this because every gun sale has to go through the federal background check. They know that there are more guns in the hands of Americans every time. Go to a gun show this weekend. Good luck buying a gun. They're going to be sold out. They know that they're selling guns like hotcakes because they get the federal background check data at the federal level. They don't care about gun control. It's two purposes. One, it's to throw bones to their gun grabbing constituents. But the other one is it's a diversion from this disaster. You think it's a coincidence that Kamala's going to the border when he's talking about this? It's a diversion from their failures.
Exactly. These people, listen, I'm so sick and tired of them. When this man was speaking yesterday, I was getting ready to go to church.
Now, I want to ask you as a black woman in the South, because you're in Florida, are you a native Floridian? Are your family Floridians? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if you went back to the days of your granddaddy and his daddy, you would find that they were gun owners protecting themselves from the Democrat Ku Klux Klan here in Florida, and Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. And when Joe Biden said that from the early days there were restrictions on who could own a gun, of course we know it was to keep them out of the hands of black people. They made it illegal for blacks to own guns. That's what he was referencing there. He's an old-fashioned racist. I mean, my goodness, we haven't had a racist like this in office since the 60s.
You know something? People need to rise up.
Well, that's good, but we don't want to do the other thing. Good morning. You're on the radio. Hey, Mike.
You know, if there was a gun show this week, there'd be a line right now.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. This is a...
the next gun show is on July 10th. Background.
Oh, okay.
If it was this weekend, there'd be definitely a line right now.
Oh, yeah.
The garbage that he put out yesterday is total garbage. It's just...
If you go to a gun store today, throughout this weekend, okay, there'll be a line of people in the parking lot waiting for them to open in the morning.
I'll be able to buy a gun now because the gun. Watch, either today or tomorrow, probably today.
Biden is the biggest seller of guns in this country since Obama in 2008.
He's gun salesman.
I really do believe that the gun manufacturers and gun shop owners, I know they're conservative and everything, but I know they vote Democrat. Why wouldn't they? That's when you sell the most guns. If you go to a gun store or a gun... I was talking about this earlier, Steve. I went to the Palm Beach... by the way, hey, Mike, thanks for the call. I went to the Palm Beach gun show a couple times recently, okay? The first time I went, it was before the election. There were people there just browsing around. I went there again after Biden was in office. Every dealer was filling out a background check on the computer. They were selling guns like I couldn't believe. I didn't see anyone buy a gun the first time, but when Biden was in, every dealer was selling guns. Democrats are responsible for more guns on the street than you can imagine. You know, and ammo sales too. Ammo is expensive right now because it's in short supply. And it's expensive. When I got my Glock, I took it to the range because I got to get used to it and learn how to use it. I couldn't believe how much even the cheap Target ammo was. You know, the biggest sellers of guns are Democrats, and right now it's Joe Biden. Oh, after the show, about an hour from now, I'm gonna be over at Friendly Tire in Margate. I have my wife's car with me today. It has a screw in one of the back tires. She ran over a screw, so I'm heading over to Friendly Tire in Margate to have the tire repaired. And you know, these tire shops around town, they don't do tire repairs. Friendly Tire does, and their tire repairs start at just $7. They have great prices on all their tires. Used tires starting at just $30 on most sizes, and you hear all the great deals we talk about on new tires. But sometimes you just need a simple repair like I need. So if you're over there at Friendly Tire around 9:30 today, you'll see me. But be quick because repairs are fast. Friendly Tire in Margate. Give Mike a call. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. We'll be right back.
AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Stop paying an outright.
Steve Kane Show.
Your tires. Go easy on your budget.
Steve Kane Show.
At Friendly Tire in Margate.
Yeah.
All the major brands.
What's your name?
Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beat. Steve Kane's Tires brings Toyota van at the
A lot of winners today on the phone.
doctor's bills to make sure you're correct.
Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane Show. Hello. Yeah. All right, hold on.
Spouses of veterans, you may be entitled to benefits that you are not aware of, including long-term care benefits. Call attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group and find out what benefits are available to you. With offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782. 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
All right. We are back. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Yeah, this is Mark.
Hey, Mark.
What's up?
Oh, not much. I was looking at your
No, that's a quote. Joe Biden said, "We're not changing the Constitution, we're enforcing it."
Okay, but he's not doing that, is he?
That's what he said he's doing. If you notice, it's in quotation marks. He said, "We're not changing the Constitution, we're enforcing it." That's what Biden said.
And that when Joe Biden says things that sometimes they're not true.
Yeah, I think he's lying out of both sides of his mouth, personally. I don't know. I think he is trying to change. That's why I called in.
Well, trust your instincts.
But my question is there any way that we could go nationwide from
you think there's no petition that can require an American in the United States to keep their mouth shut? Yeah.
Speak out.
That's right.
As American citizens, to evaluate what's said and to come to our own conclusions.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand all that, your freedom of speech and everything.
But
on YouTube.
Yeah. So you can't. That's it. So listen. That when you look at Joe Biden, what do you think when it comes to this gun control talk? What do you think Joe Biden wants?
I can't tell.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. Let me ask you another. Now I'll tell you this: you never fear Joe Biden and anything that he says he's going to do. He's been in Washington for 50 years, right? Can you tell me one thing he's ever done? There you go. No, he is. In fact, he has not accomplished anything in his entire 50 years in Washington D.C. Nothing. So what Joe Biden does is he goes out and tells people in a news cycle what they want to hear, and then moves along. He's never accomplished anything.
But that Joe Biden has accomplished. United Americans.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody's united against him.
Yeah. And he did do something good yesterday. He gave a defense to the Capitol breachers. He said to go up against the government, you need nuclear weapons and F-15s. That means that the breach was not an insurrection because they had neither of those things. They weren't even armed. They were completely unarmed. Well, anytime, and no matter who the president is, okay, half the country are pissed off about it, right? It just switches which half is pissed.
Positive change begins with people getting upset.
That's right. Yes. Like you are, yeah. 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 Oh boy. Yeah. You know, you shouldn't tune people out just because they say something you don't agree with. That's not how you win things, you know. You know, Joe Biden said so many things yesterday that are so easy to tear, like that thing I picked up about how he was bragging about the great work the Democrats did in making it illegal for blacks to not have guns, you know. You know, I thought that was, nobody's picked up on that yet, but they will, since I've mentioned it a couple times. Perhaps someone will. All right, let me get to some other stuff, though, from Biden. Well, you know what? Let me play this other clip. Let me get off of Biden just for a minute, see, because time's short. I just looked at the clock. Did you see this thing with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs? What's his name? Millie?
Millie.
Yeah, like Millie Vanilli. You know? Yeah. Yeah, this is, can you imagine General MacArthur talking like this? This is General Millie Vanilli here, talking about the importance of critical race theory in the military.
Sure. First of all, on the issue of critical race theory, etc., I'll obviously have to get much smarter on whatever the theory is. But I do think it's important, actually, for those of us in uniform to be open-minded and be widely read. And the United States Military Academy is a university.
So now it's a book club. The military is a book club now, according to General Millie Vanilli here.
And it is important that we train and we understand.
He's talking about Marx, too.
White rage, and I'm white, and I want to understand it. So,
let me go back, Steve, because we talked over that. This is General Millie Vanilli, chairman of the Joint Chiefs.
And we understand, and I want to understand white rage, and I'm white, and I want to understand it.
Could you imagine Patton with this guy?
He's in a rage, but he doesn't know it.
He's in a rage against Trump. He's not done now. Here we go.
So what is it that caused thousands of people to assault this building and try to overturn the Constitution of the United States?
Thousands of.
It was not anywhere near that number. I guess the books he's reading are not math books.
I want to find that out. I want to maintain an open mind here, and I do want to.
Yay! I just heard him say "out."
His reading when he was young, that he read things like Marx
and Engels. Yeah.
Probably on your quote there.
I don't. Maybe he does. You know, and listen to how he just says "out." He says "out" with a Canadian accent. Interesting.
The United States of America. What caused that? I want to find that out.
Out. That's how Canadians say "out." Is he Canadian?
Evidently.
Someone said he won. Yeah. He can't get another star. There's no more stars.
United States of America. What caused that? I want to find that out. I want to maintain an open mind here, and I do want to analyze it. It's important that we understand that because our soldiers, sailors, airmen, marines.
So this is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the United States military. His primary function is domestic. I didn't know the Army's primary function was against our citizens. I thought they were about protecting us from enemies outside this country, but I guess the military mission is a domestic mission now.
Marines and Guardians, they come from the American people. So it is important that the leaders, now and in the future, do understand it. I've read Mao Zedong. I've read Karl Marx.
There you go, Steve. There you go. All the greats. These
classics.
These are the guidebooks.
The hits keep it coming.
Yeah.
Sailors, Marines, and Guardians, they come from the American
I didn't hear the Bible in his list.
People. So it is important that the leaders, now and in the future, do understand it. I've read Mao Zedong. I've read Karl Marx. I've read Lenin. That doesn't make me a communist.
Lord.
With understanding, having some situational understanding about the country for which we are here to defend. And I personally find it offensive that we are accusing the United States military, our general officers, are commissioned, non-commissioned officers, of being, quote, woke or something else because we're studying some theory.
Just because we're studying Marx and
Ingalls. Yeah. They're not Laura Ingalls Wilder.
That was started at Harvard Law School years ago, and it proposed that there were laws in the United States, antebellum laws prior to the Civil War, that led to a power differential with African Americans that were 3/4 of a human being when this country was formed.
This guy's retarded, okay? I'm sorry, I may not be able to use that word. Blacks were not considered 3/4 of a human being. For the purposes of congressional districts, they were counted as 3/5 for the allotting of congressional districts. They didn't. The law didn't say black people are 3/5 of a person. It was just for congressional. I'm not saying that was a good thing, but he's not as well read as he thinks he is, or he's reading the wrong books, I should say.
To a power differential with African Americans that were 3/4 of a human being when this country was formed, and then we had
And it was 3/5, not 3/4.
Emancipation Proclamation to change it. We brought it up to the Civil Rights Act in 1964. It took another 100 years to change that. So look, I do want to know, and I respect your service, and you and I are both Green Berets, but I want to know, and it matters to our military and the discipline and cohesion of this military.
I'll put that up against the Patton speech with George C. Scott at the beginning of the movie.
all these obsolete lists.
So the chairman and the Joint Chiefs of Staff believe that the enemy are white conservative Americans. That's what he's saying in that speech. That's pretty sick and scary. I never liked this guy. He went out and trashed the Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump, and all of that after they went to the church across the street. A lot of these guys that are at the high-ranking officers are government bureaucrat, political liberals. People think, oh,
Biden.
yeah, to get promoted into the general ranks, those go through congressional approval. Those promotions, all of them. So these are political people. They tend to be liberal. They're not like your rank and file soldier, And this guy, General Milli Vanilli here, is really a bad guy. He's the white general. The black general is now the Secretary of Defense. Yeah. Now I want to tell everyone about Wings Plus in Coral Springs, the Sample Road location, and oh man, there's no better place to go for lunch or dinner. 7 days a week. They're open for dining, of course, inside as well as takeout. I usually do takeout, and the wings over there are the best wings you've ever had. You turn me on, Steve, to the chili over at Wings Plus. Oh man. And now,
but with a lot of meat.
Well, yeah. The taste is spectacular, and at Wings Plus, what Steve said is right on the money. You go to a lot of these other places with chili, and they fill it with the beans. Everybody wants the beans. That's filler. At Wings Plus, not only does it taste spectacular, it's homemade right there as everything is, but it's filled with meat and great flavor, not stuffed with beans. I mean, it's everything there is spectacular. Wings Plus, the Sample Road location, is about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road in Coral Springs. When you stop in, make sure you tell them you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show. All right, let's take our break. We'll be back with the Gold Report after this.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
At noon weekdays, turn your radio to Richard Pearl on Politics. Unfiltered, unapologetic, always controversial. Richard Pearl tells it like it is. No topic is off limits. This is talk radio like it should be. You've known him as a master of nutraceuticals. Now, listen to Richard Pearl as you've never heard him before. Richard Pearl on Politics. High noon weekdays on this radio station. Be there. Did you know that 2 out of 5 Americans suffer from some kind of allergy? So it's likely that fatigue, runny nose, headaches, intestinal problems, and a general lousy feeling can be connected to an allergy. Any lab tests now of Boca Raton offer allergy tests that can detect over 125 airborne, food, and environmental allergens. Allergy testing is quick, easy, and painless. Results can be shared with your physician or an allergist. No doctor's order or prescription is necessary. No appointment either. Just walk right in. Any lab test now of Boca Raton is located at 23016 Sandalfoot Plaza on the east side of 441, just a few doors down from Western Beef. If you have any questions, call 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Any lab tests now of Boca Raton. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on The Steve Kane Show.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, we are back.
That's right, and yes, and it's Gold Report time, Steve. Sorry.
Reminds us it is time for the Gold Report. Each day at this time on the Steve Kane Show, we have the privilege of talking with William Youngerman, one of the world's leading experts when it comes not just to gold, but to all the precious metals. He has been advising clients on trends and movements in all the prices of the precious metals for over 50 years. He is one of the leading experts in the world, and those of you who've been sharp enough to follow his advice and have been following it through the recent years, well, I don't have to tell you, you know he knows what he's talking about. William, how are things looking today with the precious metals?
Looking very good, Steve. Gold has redefined its trading range for the short term, at least here at good strong base at $1,775 with resistance at the $1,800 number. And right now we saw gold close yesterday at $1,778.40. That was down 40 cents. Silver was up 10 cents, closing out the day at $25.86 the ounce. Platinum closed up $11 at $1,080, and palladium was up $52 yesterday at $2,536 the ounce. The rally continues this morning, up $6 on gold at $1784.40. Silver up 19 cents at $26.05 the ounce, while platinum is up another $10 at $1,090, and palladium is up $24 at $2,560 the ounce. The U.S. dollar is lower, the index at 91.71, and oil remains stubbornly above that $70 a barrel price. So that's pretty much where we are this morning, starting off. Great price range to...
Up in today at William Youngerman. If you have any questions, he'll take all the time with you. They take extra care with Steve Kane listeners, and William will give you as much time as you need. So stop by today, located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca Raton, Florida. That's in the lobby of the Bank of America, right across from the bank, as a matter of fact. And you can get it by phone, 1-800-327-5010, or go to the website, William Youngerman.
Yes. You know, I just wanted to say one thing about the Britney Spears thing, you know, because I know that's not our normal thing. I'm not really that interested in it, but I did hear one thing that I was shocked. You know, her father is the one that controls her and her money. She's like 39. I read just a bit ago during the break that she has no control even over her medical decisions, and she has they had implanted in her that birth control that they put inside of women, and they won't even let her take it out. That's how little freedom she has. I mean, my goodness, I didn't realize that she was you want to talk all this talk about reparations, you want to talk about a slave. She's been a slave to her father for like the last 15 years. Her dad controls all the money. He's got all the money. She can't even take $1 out of the bank. It's very strange. It's gonna end up bad.
Craig, don't Brit.
Well, I haven't heard that one in a while, but that's true. Kamala, she's I guess she's going to beat Trump to the border. So Trump made her go down there. It's the only reason she's going is because of Trump. But oh yeah, weak,
catastrophic, because they're going to try to keep her as far away. The vice president, that is. They're going to try to keep her as far away as she can from where the really important stuff is. And
you mean where there's a problem? They're not going to let. Yeah, exactly.
But they're not going to let her within a sniff of a dead body.
Or any place that's out of control. No.
The press. This is where they'll give a break to Donald Trump.
Well, I wonder what kind of tour you think she'll tour where there's like welcoming children, that are coming in here and talking. I don't know.
But I can tell you it's going to be a very sanitized scene.
Yeah, she might end up at the Canadian border. You never know if you want to. But yeah, and then Trump's going to go down there and get into a part where it's bad. He's going to really. Yeah. What I'd like to see him do is go with Ted Cruz with what Ted Cruz did out in the bush where he got the coyotes. I guess he'd have to take the suit off, but I'd like to see him.
Just throw them out. We found out.
That's right.
That
the president. They do listen to this show. I've gotten. Yeah. Mm-hmm. From Tampa to Sarasota. Yeah. You would love it. Sarasota is. I'm so glad they did this because Sarasota is a very nice town. You don't have to worry about liberal activists in Sarasota. No, there's no BLM chapter there. I promise you, no BLM chapter there. Too many rich people. They wouldn't put up with any of that crap. If it was in Tampa, it would have been a disaster. So I'm very glad that they took our advice yesterday and moved it. Well, I can't help them with Cleveland. I can't help them with that. I don't. Yeah.
You said yesterday to tip them off.
Yeah. Absolutely, it did. I was amazed. I was amazed when I saw that. Yeah. No. Well, that they did it. Not that they listen. I know. Believe me. I know we have Mar-a-Lago listeners to this program. Are you kidding? I've gotten confirmation of that from multiple people that we have Mar-a-Lago listeners to this program. Yes, that's right. Every joke ever made about Cleveland is well-deserved. It's a dump. Cleveland is, I'm from Ohio, so I can say this. Cleveland is a dump. Yeah. Oh, they got to change that name. It's the Cleveland baseball team. We'll have to call them. Things are just getting so stupid. They're just getting so stupid. Oh yeah. That's right. The Trump rallies are going to be absolutely amazing, and I'll tell you what else is going to be amazing. Richard Pearl on politics at noontime on our radio stations. Hey, Richard Pearl. Good morning.
Well, good morning. So there's a lot of
Wow. Well, I got to tell you, the natural products, which is Richard Pearl's specialty at his store, Simply Natural, I use a lot of Richard Pearl's supplements. I am a big supporter of natural health and natural supplements, and I'll tell you this, there's pretty much a natural supplement for anything I've ever had a problem with, and one thing I have never experienced with a supplement is a side effect. I don't know why that is, but it's just, you know, but... Yeah.
Wait a second.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Well, listen, time is short, and we're going to get cut off here real quick, Richard Pearl. But listen, Richard Pearl's show is on our radio stations at noon weekdays, and his store, Simply Natural, is in the city of Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip on the east side of University, open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. And the number over there, 954-741-4045. Have a great show at noon, Richard. All right, you want to sign us off quickly, Steve?
For today, we wind up half of my son and our top engineer here, Tyler Kane, Brian Craig, my partner in this venture, and we'll see you all tomorrow for the Big Friday show. God bless America.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
All right, guys. Hey, listen, thanks for joining. Make sure that if you're not, that you subscribe. Well, there's some things, Marilyn, that you're not allowed to talk about on YouTube. I think you know what those things are, and that's the problem with that. I just explained, so that's not me. Make sure that you're subscribed, and if you're already subscribed, make sure you like the video before you leave, guys. That would help me out a lot. Like the video before you go. All right, that helps a lot. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you. I got a great new podcast coming up today with Kathy. We did a podcast last night. It was too late to upload it, and it's a good one with some stuff you will not want to miss, I promise you. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you.